Sean on YouTube, back at you with another one. We got podcast number 3. Got my boy here.
What's going on, y'all? Your boy Demorne.
Yeah. So, how you been, man? You know, what's a high point you've had lately, man?
Shit, I've been all right. Shit, you know how I really been, but
yeah, hell yeah.
But surrounded a high point of my week, surrounded by some great energy. It's something about the spirit, like, you know, when you attract certain energy, like it just finds you anywhere. Like the other day I was in the grocery store and had a 30-minute conversation with some old man, like a great conversation too. So it's definitely a high point. Apparently my energy, you know, heading the right way. A low point, unfortunately, my uncle I wasn't too close to on my dad's side, passed away from coronavirus. He was a little bit old too, but it's still, you know, still a loss, you know what I mean? So prayers up for him. How have you been, bro? What's the low point, high point of your week? Hopefully a lot of high points, you know, less low points, brother, man. You've been staying busy.
Man, I'll say the high point is coming to the realization that negative thoughts and negative energy that I might have, that I, you know, might be feeling, I could, you know, transfer that into positive energy. So,
Absolutely.
You know, because like even something as simple as like my poem, 'cause I thought about that today and I was like, you know, yeah, I got it out of my system, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, I don't want my poetry or the way that I express myself on paper to stay there.
Word.
So I was like, because I thought about it, I was like, I wrote like 3 or 4 poems and they were kind of along the same, you know, the same kind of theme. And I'm like, all right, you know, I'm like, yeah, I can continue doing that if I want to stay in that space, which I don't.
Yeah.
There's going to come a point where, you know, I want to be on the other side of this. So then let me start now. So like the poem that I wrote for y'all, you know, kind of made me feel good. Like, all right, you know, it sounds good. Cause I called that poem, you know, Light Shine.
Word.
So, you know what I mean? Like it's positive.
Shit brought me to tears. I'm not just saying it because we're on YouTube or it's a podcast. Like this man DJ got a talent, man. And I mean, you don't really use it all the time, but like I was saying, like, yo, son, like you got a gift for poetry, you know, put that shit to use. The next day, this man made me a poem about some personal things we'll probably talk about later in the podcast. That shit made me cry, bro, on some real shit, son.
Yeah,
so,
man. Some real stuff, man.
Energy transmutation is a real thing, bro. Whether it's sexual, whether it's you know, whether you're going through a hard time, once you transmute that energy and put it into something that you're passionate for, you know what I mean, greatness ensues.
Right. And, I mean, that it's easier said than done because I'm like, you know, it's what you get it's in the secret.
Yep.
You know, like it was like you consider yourself to be something of like a tower that, you know, draws energy. So like your thoughts are drawing that particular energy towards you. And I was like, damn, you know, that's true. And then it just made me think about like stuff that happened months ago, like how I focused on me not wanting certain things to happen. And then them shits happen.
And that's what it comes to you. You know what I mean? Law of attraction is abundant.
Yeah. And it was saying that the mind thinks 60,000 thoughts a day and how it's impossible to try to police 60,000 thoughts in a day, which, you know, obviously, you know, you can't do that. But I was like, all right, so let me just do my best to focus on the things that I want to happen. And then, you know,
focus on the feeling too, you know what I mean? Because we can't focus on every single one of our thoughts, but we're ever present on how we feel in that moment. And your subconscious is always working, whether you're asleep, awake, whatever. So the best compass as far as like direct your thoughts is how you feeling. So if you're feeling down, like, damn, what am I thinking about that's bringing me down? And once you learn how to switch that, shit just comes to you. You know what I mean? And it's real. It's like a muscle.
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. They had talked about meditation too, so hopefully that, you know, the next time we have a podcast, hopefully my high point will be that I got into meditation. So I'm putting that shit out there right now.
I'm surprised you don't meditate, bro, to be honest.
I honestly, I don't, because the thing is, my mind is just, I think I was saying before, my mind is constantly going. Like my mind is like already like mad fast, and then in the morning I already kind of want to start my day. So then I kind of just get up, I just go brush my teeth, you know, whatever it is I want to do, and I just go ahead and do it.
Word. So, yeah, meditation is actually the practice of like calming down the mind and slowing down the thoughts. But it don't happen overnight. You know what I mean? Like they first say to like start out 5 minutes a day, focus on your breathing. But
my breathing I focus on, because sometimes I don't be breathing. I be thinking about this too. Like sometimes I don't always breathe, or like conscious breaths.
Yeah.
Conscious breaths. You know,
that's facts. Yeah, that's facts.
I'll be holding my breath sometimes, but
But that's a muscle in itself, bro. We got a whole podcast, you know what I mean, coming up with that because meditation helped me through a lot of shit. Not gonna front. And I'm not no expert or whatever, but you know what I mean, the way that I meditate definitely helps me a lot.
Yeah, hopefully I'll just start small. So even if it's like 2 to 3 minutes, just, you know, just my eyes closed, you know, just breathing, trying to empty my mind. I think, you know, that'll probably help if I do that, you know, every day. So kind of, yeah, like it's a muscle, like exercising.
Yep.
You gotta, you know, maintenance your mind, but in that respect. So although my mind is constantly going, you know, try to slow it down a bit and
absolutely
try to defrag, you know, like a defrag a computer. I was thinking about that at work. I was like, you know, I gotta defrag my mind sometimes.
Yeah, that's meditation for you. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And speaking of like minds constantly going and like, you know, perfectionists, you know, the topic of the podcast today was going to talk about one of the greatest, probably the greatest that's ever done it. You know what I mean? Let me not introduce it, but I'll probably ruin the introduction or whatever the case may be.
All right, hey, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
It's you know, yesterday marked the 11. Mark me, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but yesterday marked the 11-year anniversary of the greatest performer that ever set foot on stage. You know what I mean? The legend himself. You know what I mean? Michael Jackson. So yesterday was the 11-year anniversary of his death, but we don't celebrate. We don't mourn death. We celebrate life. You know what I mean? And shit, like where do we even begin when it comes to that man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be honest, you're the one who introduced me to Michael Jackson.
Really? Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember that day pretty vividly too. It was me, my older sister. My little sister wasn't born at that time. You pulled up, I think it was a VHS. You pulled up with something, but it was damn, what was the name of that song? They don't. All I really know is that they don't.
All I really want to say is that they don't really.
Yeah, facts. And we was marching around the table. I don't know if you remember that. We was dead marching around the table. And that was the first time I was like, yo, this is some, like, I didn't know what the message was back then. We was mad young. But
I kind of remember that.
Remember that? We kept playing around the table. Like, we was on repeat for like 2 hours, something like that. We just kept marching as if we was in the music video.
Yeah.
And that was my first memory that I got of like Michael Jackson and my mom.
Really? Wow. I didn't know that. Wow. I did not know that.
Everybody, you know, everybody regards him as the greatest. And then, you know, he was always trying to emulate his dance moves. I remember we thought and I might be skipping steps or whatever, but we was always trying to emulate the Lean and Smooth Criminal because we thought that was real growing up.
Shit.
Billie Jean, like we thought the man was magical.
I mean, I know, you know, like the whole thing behind it, but to me, it's still real, bro. I don't care because Because what's funny, most people don't know that he recreated that. So a lot of, you know, when Michael Jackson, one of his sayings was, you know, study the greats and become greater. Mm-hmm. So a lot of, you know, what we know him for, he got from someone else, but he just, you know, studied that and took it to the next level.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, just took it and ran with it.
To another planet, bro, because there's no other artist. And mind you, before Michael Jackson, there was no Michael Jackson. There was nobody that laid down the blueprint for Michael Jackson. So this man just like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you could say Elvis. Maybe you could say like Little Richie, like as far as stage presence goes. But there was no Michael Jackson before.
Well, yeah. I'd say like that. Yeah, he's the one and only Michael Jackson, obviously. But Michael Jackson was, he was influenced by James Brown, Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire. You know, a lot of these guys. You know, like who were before him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because Fred Astaire was like one of the biggest actors. And, you know, they were known. See, that's the thing. Like, movie wasn't just movie back then. Movie was kind of like theater, but just in film. Mm-hmm. So it was like song and dance. And then he was watching them.
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr., like, he was watching a lot of the guys. So there were people that paved the way for him. But he was just the guy that, like, where they all looked at him like, you know, we're great, but him, like, like he could take over. Like, he got it. Mm-hmm. No, he got it. I've seen a lot of interviews where they'll talk about him. Like, I don't know if you know who Sammy Davis Jr. is, but like he's a singer, you know, songwriter, you know, performer from, you know, way back in the day.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson sang one of his songs in front of him, and the song is called "'Cause You Were There." Like, he almost cried. Like, he was watching Michael, like, just about to cry.
Oh wow. Fred
Astaire and/or Gene Kelly, you know, one of them, they were like, he needs to teach me how to moonwalk. Like, Michael Jackson, like, literally, like, took the whole world, you know, by storm back in the day. and he saved the music industry, but that's like a whole nother thing.
Facts. Yeah, I was just listening to some I'm talking about that, like MTV, the whole story about him breaking the color barrier on MTV. Him pretty much, a lot of people don't even know that, him pretty much is the reason why home movies is actually like a thing through Thriller. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Oh,
The
well,
whole thing about that.
Well, yeah, he's the reason why, you know, music videos is like a staple in like the campaign of an artist. So when they got like a single out now, you know, music video has, like, visuals has to come with that. Back when Michael Jackson was doing it, like, music videos were like optional. Like, it was something that record labels didn't want to pay for, so they weren't that common.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was making that popular. Like, he was like, music videos were coming out of his pocket. So yeah. I won't say Billie Jean did, Beat It didn't, but Thriller did.
Yeah.
You know, Thriller, he financed that himself. And then there's like, that was like a whole process in that, because Michael Jackson was on fire back then, that he had a contract with Showtime where they pretty much bought, or they got the rights to the behind the scenes. So when they marketed the behind the scenes, that's where the money came from. So when they bought that from him, that's how he paid it. That's how he paid for that. So he was like, all right, I'll give you guys the rights to air the behind the scenes for this video. And then he took the money that they gave him to pay for that. And that's how he financed the video.
And that takes passion to do, because the music video, and especially his music videos, was not easy to make. And he choreographed all of that shit. It was like mini movies, you know what I mean? And to this day,
it was a whole experience. Like, I wish I was alive back in the day, because it's kind of like how, let's say, like when the new Avengers movie comes out, that's the shit that like everybody wants to see, right? Back in the day, when a Michael Jackson video came on MTV, like, everybody was at home. You know, I mean, that's just how it seemed to me. Like, just, you know, watching old stuff and interviews and people talking about it. Like, everybody would go home and be home at 7, 8 o'clock to watch the premiere.
Just to watch that. Yep.
Beat It, Bad, you know what I'm saying, Thriller, all of that.
Yep. And not to mention the Apollo and like and Beat It, Billie Jean, like, just timeless classics that never get old to this day. Like, I never ran into some person like, oh, turn that Michael Jackson off. You know what I mean? Like,
I have
music literally for real.
I have, yeah. I've had, I say, a handful of people, but the thing is, my mentality is, I'd rather you know, just be straight up and just say, you know, because I mean, everything's not for everybody.
Yeah, that's
true. There's some people who like Prince more than Michael Jackson. I mean, I'm just saying that's like the common thing, but usually it's true. You know, everything is not for everybody. So I've met people who, remember I told you I dated an old girl, you know, a couple years ago, you know what I'm talking about. I remember I was playing Michael Jackson. She cut the TV off.
Yeah.
She cut it off.
On some ignorant shit, mostly because of the bad media that he was getting and all that.
I mean, honestly, I respected it, because I've had people come up to me and then just pretend to like Michael Jackson just because they know I love Michael Jackson.
Gotcha.
The thing is, the difference between me and a lot of other people is that, like, I love Michael Jackson, obviously, because, you know, I got all these books, and these not even like half the books that I have. This is just what I felt like grabbing.
And this is from like childhood too. This is like what, 6, 7-year-old DJ, you know what I mean? So it's not even like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't make this shit up.
No, I can't make this shit up, because the thing is, that's what's funny, because I didn't know that was the first time that you listened to Michael Jackson, but now I remember, because, you know, my father got me my first Michael Jackson album ever was the History album. So basically in '95, it was like a greatest hits album. So it had, the first disc was all his hits. So you had like Beat It, Smooth Criminal, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All that. And then the second disc was new music that he was working on at that time. So the second disc was that. But when I was a kid, I only was really listening to the first disc, because I was like, and it had a book. So this is before I even like knew what the music videos were. But it came with a book that had like pictures from like Thriller and everything. Gotcha. So I used to take that book everywhere with me, because that was before I even seen the video. So I was like, who is this guy? Like, I was 5 years old. Fact. So my introduction to music was the GOAT. Like, the greatest.
If you're watching this on YouTube, absolute facts. You cannot make this shit up. Who's gonna lie about, you know what I mean? Like, but you always been that type. If you find something that was cool, or something that appealed to you, or something that was different, you're gonna gravitate to it. It becomes like part of your DNA. Yeah. And since that day, it's been part of your DNA.
Like, since then, there's never come a point where I stopped listening to his music. And then, like, once I got old enough, so my cassette is over there. I probably should go and grab it. But my cassette, I had the History album, which was straight audio. Mm-hmm. Then my uncle went and got me the History cassette, which was I would say it was all his music videos, but like a lot of the good ones. Gotcha. And it started with Motown 25. So his performance Motown 25. So the first video on there, so it wasn't Billie Jean the music video, but it was his performance.
Motown,
Once I seen that, I took that.
You got that
was it after that,
right? He got an Oscar for his. Was it? Am I saying that right? He got an Oscar for Motown.
Nah, he was nominated for an Emmy, which he didn't get.
Oh,
he actually lost the Emmy to I don't know who he lost it to, but he lost it. He was some bullshit.
But I never heard of a stage performance being nominated for an Emmy. That's really wild, though, to me. It was like something like 50 million people saw that performance.
Because again, like those are just like moments in like culture. You know what I'm saying? Culture, music history. These are things that people look forward to because there was no internet back then.
Yeah.
There was no internet. Like even to have a VCR at that time and to be able to record that, like back when that happened, like especially VCRs were probably a lot of money back in 1982, 1983. So when that came on TV, let's say if you were somebody that had that, you had money. Or you were like, you know, like middle class where you could afford to have a VCR. So some people, they didn't even have that. So, you know, that, you know, when a music video would come on MTV, that was like their chance to see him, which was, you know what I mean? Like even like for us, like there was a time when there was no DVR. So when you, and if you didn't have a movie, you had to wait for it to come on TV or HBO, you know, Channel 7, you know, whatever the case. So back then, that was a big deal. I can only imagine, you know, what that was like. Or when, you know, he went to the White House, like, and everybody was there. Like, more people were there to see him than they were to see the fucking president.
Yeah, it's facts. Yeah. Back in that time, yo, everybody was wearing Jordans and a red leather jacket. You know what I mean? Like, and all the youth out there was influenced. And you can't say, even in this century, in this century, you cannot say you're a musician without saying you got influence from Michael Jackson. You got rock and roll, you got pop, you got R&B, you got jazz, like all he's transcendent amongst all genres. Yeah, to this day.
See, there comes a point where Michael Jackson, he's like his own genre because you can't even. People call him. What's funny? People actually thought that he was calling himself that. No, people started calling him the king of pop, but he was too big for one genre. Like that's why if you listen to his albums, it's different genres all mixed in one because he can do anything.
I'm thinking of Off the Wall. You can't put one genre on Off the Wall. No. It's just a plethora of just different, you know what I mean? Like man was just a creative freak. You know what I mean? To choreograph all that he's choreographed, to create all that music in his head, and he was even playing instruments as well. To learn all of that for the passion of music, you know what I mean?
Well, Michael Jackson, he didn't play instruments, but what he would do. So let's say if I'm Michael Jackson and you're a producer, so I'm working on a song. By the time the song gets to you, so you're my producer, and I'm like, all right, you know, Derek, I'm working on this record. You know, we get in the studio. You know, we're gonna work on it. Michael Jackson was that on point with it that his drafts or his demos sounded like finished records.
Yeah, that's true. Through beatboxing, yeah.
So basically, if you were somebody that played the saxophone, Michael Jackson would be able to imitate the sound of the saxophone to you, so that way you would know exactly how he wanted it to sound on the record. So when you listen to a Michael Jackson song and you listen to the instrumentation, so let's say you have musicians, like a team of musicians on there, Michael Jackson told them exactly how he wanted to sound. So
complete control over his craft. You know what I mean? That takes perfectionism. Because when you think of like, you know, how passionate he was, like you think of like Kobe and how passionate he was about his sport. Like they don't make people that creatively passionate and that creatively just like, you know, genius in anybody. You know what I mean? And mind you, he was starting from an early age, and it wasn't easy to do what he was doing that early on and to continue it on through the span of his life. Like, and how do you know a legend while you're living? You know what I mean? He became a living legend.
Well, you know what it is? I think, and y'all can check out my podcast that I did with my friend Percy. It's Mr. No Days Off podcast. But basically, what I talked to him on there was when you love what you do, like you could just do it. You know, it's no thing to do it. Like it's just second nature to do it. Like breathing. You know, making music was like breathing to Michael Jackson. Like he was always working on something. He was somebody that didn't like to take vacations because he was always working on something.
Very true. Yeah.
So also shout out to my friend from Paris, Alliston Jackson from Paris. He's a Michael Jackson tribute artist. And one of the things that I talked to him about a few days ago, if not last week. So I asked him what his favorite Michael Jackson album was, and I'll pose you that question.
Oh, you should pose to me that question.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Off the Wall. I'm not gonna front. I like
Really? Yo, what's up with people off the wall, yo?
Yeah, I do. I like the diversity. Well, I don't really, I don't really study his music like like you do, of course. But like first album that pops in my mind is Off the Wall.
Really?
The first time I listened to PYT, I got goosebumps. I don't know why, but I'm just one of those people that just get emotional to music. But I got goosebumps first time I heard PYT, and it's not like my favorite song or whatever, but I don't know, that album really jumped.
What about that song made you get goosebumps? Like,
I don't know,
because it's a fun up tempo song. So
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It wasn't like emotional goosebumps. I guess just the way it made me feel. Like I connect with music, and you're the same way. I connect with music based on how it makes me feel. Right. Like, I cry to jazz. You know what I mean? So it's like something about that song. It always put me in that whole album could put me in a good mood, pretty much. Right.
Well, yeah. Well, PYT was on Thriller. So
it was on Thriller.
Yeah, PYT was on Thriller. PYT was on Thriller.
Oh,
when you think Off the Wall, when you think off the Wall is Rock With You, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Yeah,
Off
there
the
you
Wall
go.
Is a single on there. She's Out of My Life, and
because believe it or not, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Even though he's just like dancing, and it's the most basic like music video. It's one of my favorite music videos still.
Well, what's funny is that see, we'll look at it as like basic now, but at that time, that music video was like cutting edge.
Facts. Yep.
So, well, really, he actually took it to the next level when he did the Triumph album with his brothers in '81, and then they did a music video for "Can You Feel It," which Michael Jackson financed himself because, again, labels weren't paying for that. That music video was seen as like a big deal because it had special effects, whole narrative. It was like it was pretty much like a short film, so it kind of preceded what he went on to do with the rest of his career. And I was '81. And he was big enough where he can kind of get music videos out there like that. But let's say like most artists at that time, that wasn't part of their rollout. It was kind of like, here's a single, take it to radio, go on tour. Michael was the one who was kind of able to, do all the extra stuff.
Making a whole production out of it. And people don't do music video. I don't think anybody's made music videos as like he has, like 45-minute music videos, like short movie about Smooth Criminal. Just like mad little like short productions. It seemed like Thriller was also a very long production as well. Like people don't even they don't do that no more. There's no type of creativity in that type of field.
Well, people do that now, but the reason why it was so, like astonishing to people was because Michael Jackson was the first one to do it and to take it to, that level. Unfortunately, that was one thing that, I would assume that would be Michael Jackson's biggest regret is that he never really made that big a mark into, film. Like he wasn't like a, movie star because that's what he wanted to do. Michael Jackson wanted to do that. What's funny, people don't know this, or a Michael Jackson fan probably know this, but Michael Jackson was supposed to do a live action Peter Pan back in 1983.
That would have been fire.
The problem with, and Steven Spielberg was supposed to direct it, everything. Wow. So that was supposed to be like a big thing. But the problem with Michael was that he was so, how should I say, caught up in doing music that, especially back in the day, it's not like now where, all right, you do a film, it'll probably take you like maybe a month, 2 months to do it because everything is digital these days, so it's not that long. But before, back in like the late 70s, the 80s, movies took big budget movies took a lot longer than that. So let's say when Michael Jackson did The Wiz, which I actually have playing on my TV right now, that movie it was like 6 months. He said, in the interview, it took 6 months to shoot that movie.
Away from music, probably, or not being able to.
Oh, yeah, because that was actually right before Off the Wall, because he met Quincy Jones on the set of The Wiz.
Well, The Wiz,
so Quincy Jones did the soundtrack for The Wiz, and then he walked up to Quincy Jones like, "Oh, I'm looking for somebody to produce my album. Who would you suggest?" Wow. And then Quincy was like, "I'll do your album," and then the rest is history.
Wow,
I have a problem with Quincy Jones though. I have a big problem with Quincy Jones. If you know, you know. But my favorite. That's the thing. It's hard to say. What my favorite album would be. To be honest with you, it depends on how I'm feeling.
What are you most emotionally attached to?
What, like a song?
Song or album, or if you could generalize it down. Like, what do you listen to the most?
It really depends, bro. It really depends. But if I had a favorite record, that, see, I literally just be having Michael Jackson stuff all over the place. If I had a favorite music video, like my favorite music video is right here. Yeah. What is that? Wait, yeah, right here.
Yeah, I see. Torture. Yup. Facts.
Yeah, that's my favorite music video, bro. But
yeah, I remember that shit used to give you nightmares.
That shit used to scare the shit out of me until I got older and I came to, appreciate, that music video for what it was. But without making it the whole topic of discussion, is that music video probably would, like, to me, if I could go back in time and I could talk to Michael Jackson, I would have had him like, look, listen, Michael, I don't know how you feel about this video, but go do that shit. I think because so Michael Jackson did the first 4-dimensional 3D, special effects movie in 1986. I feel like he wouldn't have had to do that if he had did that music video.
Oh,
long story short, because the reason why I like that song and I like that video so much is because my imagination just imagines what it would have been like if he had did the video. Because he did that video out in Queens.
Gotcha.
Out in Queens. So every time I'm out there, I'm like, oh, that's where they shot the video.
Yeah.
And that video would have been like the most expensive music video up until that point, which that video bankrupted the production company that made it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So let's say if that had happened, it would have been more bad press for Michael at that time, which wouldn't have been good. But at the same time, I think that video, because there's no music video that Michael has where he's wearing sunglasses. Like my sunglasses. There's no music video where he's wearing his sequin gloves. There's no his sequin socks. There's no music video where he's wearing his glove. That music video, I feel like would have showcased everything that people thought Michael Jackson was and everything that he like was at that particular time.
Gotcha.
All his trademarks would have been in that music video. Like, because to me, Michael Jackson and like his brothers, to me, like to this day, they're still like the Avengers. Like they're like real life Power Rangers to me. It's not fake. Like they're actually like that. Like they're real people. Like I grew up looking at them like that. So in that music video, that's pretty much how they are. It's like outer space, a lot of crazy shit. Because that's basically what the video is. If he had did that music video, that would have been, everybody would have went back like, that's it right there. Because people say, if you talk to people, they'll probably tell you, Billie Jean or Thriller or Smooth Criminal or you know what I'm saying, all his like that one right there, because it had the best special effects that you could afford, that year. Him and his brothers at the peak of their popularity, like it's a no-brainer. And to this day, there's no. I mean, I have my own theories, but there's really no that like public reason as to why he wasn't there. He just didn't show up. Like he just didn't come. This might not be in the video because I know this is going to be like a whole separate topic, but basically that's what happened. So, all right. So basically, they
did the Brandon Gavin.
no, because that shit really gets me going. Like
that's gonna drop the name, but
that's right. but that's one of those topics that like if I could talk to his brothers, I would ask them why. Like why, didn't he show up? Because like that, like people would have been like, and he came back with his brothers. Like if they were all collectively there and then they all did that video and like it was directed the way I would have did it, because I don't think like directing wise it was that great. Like I think like he could have got better shots. Like if I was a director, I would have did that video a little bit better than what he did. Especially Michael's brother, he was injured at the time. So they had to get a stunt double to like do his part, and then it's just this whole thing. But basically, that's my favorite song. That's my favorite music video. So if 9 times out of 10, and that's not even a Michael Jackson song. Technically, that's a Jackson's record. Yeah, that's a Jackson's record because Michael only sings the second verse and then the bridge and then like some backgrounds and that's it. So. That's my favorite Jackson's record. Because if it's for a Michael Jackson song, I don't really have one because it just depends on.
You said they're all night. They all up there.
Yeah, they're all up there. I can't play favorites. Like I can't tell you what my favorite movie is. I give you a top 10, a top 20, but it just depends because I could say, oh, it's I Am Legend one day, and then Bad Boys. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't really say.
First time do you remember the first time you saw or heard Michael Jackson? Remember what it was?
Oh, like the first song?
Yeah.
I mean, it had to have been on the the History album, like I was saying. So it was that album, and then just whatever the first song was. So
And that's
that was my first exposure to him, because
Gotcha.
it was at like the store Nobody Beats the Wiz, where it's like the 90s version of Best Buy. And then you know, there was like a whole, you know, like basket, like you know, you can get like a $5, you know, like section, whatever.
Yeah.
Not that it was a $5 section, but basically it was like a whole basket of albums. And then, you know, my father was like, oh, pick one. And then like that was just the one that I picked. Not even like that, not even because I knew who he was, but just because the album cover looked cool, because he had like on like the military thing. The statues. So I was like, yo, who is he?
Yeah.
Who is he? And then like from there.
Oh snap! I remember. Now you said, I remember the exact. Yeah, I remember the exact how that shit looks. Yeah. We used to bump that shit on my boombox all the fucking time. All the time.
Yeah. But I mean. But I think kind of like we were talking on the phone, I mean, you know, and this is what we're probably going to talk about later, but even being a fan of Michael Jackson, it's like you know, for me, I think, all right, so I'll say that for later, but I feel like I kind of shared in the struggle a little bit, because I've had people literally hate on me because I listened to Michael Jackson. Like it got that bad.
Clowning you, yeah, I remember.
And you know, not that, because the thing is, what I feel like is wrong with today, or what it's been like for a very long time, is that people started to focus on the bullshit and not his greatness and what he contributed to the world. And it's been documented that Michael Jackson didn't feel appreciated for a very long time, like later in his life. So we're talking like 07, 08, 09, like leading up to the year that he passed away. Like,
oh wow,
the Rihanna sample that she used from one of his songs, he gave that to her for free. She didn't pay for that.
Oh wow. He
gave that to her for free because, and like I said, this is just what's written, that he didn't think that people were listening to his music. So you know, why do you think that his tour, he wasn't going to tour in America? He was touring in you know, overseas. Like his brothers to this day, they don't. I mean, I think they do some shows in Vegas and LA, but primarily in the beginning, they were doing a lot of shows abroad. Like I haven't heard the Jacksons coming to New York. They never come here. Like
slandering his name, like they do most of the greats as well. But it's messed up how just allegations could just ruin your name, take away from all that, or try to take away from all your greatness. But the real people know.
That's why to me, I feel like that's one of the things that upsets me in a way, because although History album was my, you know, first album and everything like that, and the album went, you know, like 4 times platinum at that time. Michael Jackson's last album, and this was from an article that I read back in like high school, and I agreed with it to this day. That's why I never forgot about it, that Michael Jackson's last album was in 1991. When Michael Jackson would come out with an album back in the day, it was like a moment, like a moment. Oh, like new Michael, he's working on a new album. This is the release date. I remember he had like a $50 million, you know, renegotiating with Sony, you know, so basically he renegotiated his record deal. So then, so that was like 50, like the highest paid artist at that time. They were cutting checks for people like that. Then he had a new Pepsi deal, and Pepsi would throw him the bag. Then his tour, the Dangerous Tour, threw him the bag for that. The commercials, all of that stuff. That was 1991. And then he had Michael Jordan. So then we just saw, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but the whole Last Dance documentary. So we seen how big Michael Jordan was back in the day.
He was bigger than that.
He was in a Michael Jackson music video. Like he was in Michael's video. He was in Michael's video, not the other way around. He was in Michael's video, like guest starring in his video. So that's how big.
And they had a commercial together as well. They had the whole campaign. It was just those two on top of the world, bro.
Right. There's MJ and MJ like that. He was in Michael, because if I'm not mistaken, Jam wasn't the first single. No, Black and White was the first single for Dangerous, but Jam was one of the singles for the Dangerous album, and then he was in the music video. So he had all these different things, and then boom, in 1993, you know, little bitch ass, you know, fucking kid comes out, says, you know, he did this, that, and the third. That was it. And then since then, that really became what people, you know, focused on.
Began the spiral, you know what I mean? Because he did have a unique life, but the way the media just slandered him, and it was, you know,
it wasn't fair.
Yeah, it wasn't fair at all.
Because and I can't help but feel like, you know, somebody like him, it's like Kendrick said this shit in the song. He was like, "Yo, that nigga gave us Billie Jean. You said he touched those kids. Like, I gave y'all all these moments. I shared all this music with y'all. I did this to make y'all happy. Because that was Michael Jackson's whole thing. He was like, I do this to make people happy. Like, hopefully, you know, I do these things and it makes somebody else's life better because I'm here and I'm making them happy through my work. And then y'all just turn y'all and it goes a little bit deeper than that because Black people felt betrayed by Michael Jackson in a way. Like, it was split. So you had people like me who, regardless of whatever it is that was out there, you still love Michael Jackson anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then you had other people who, you know, so let's say back in the day, back in 1984, so this is 2 years after Thriller. So he's on tour. So this is like when they came out with the Victory album, which had Torture on there, just to give more context. And basically, so imagine if you're a kid back in the 80s and $100 is a lot of money. Now imagine if you're a Michael Jackson fan and you want to go to the Victory Tour, but you can't just buy a ticket for yourself. You have to buy it in lots of 4, and they were $30 each. So you had to buy 4 tickets. You couldn't just buy one for yourself. You had to buy 4 tickets. So that's $120. So you're just a kid. So let's say you do odd jobs, all you can afford is $30, but you can't because you have to buy $120 tickets. And then on top of that, it was a lottery ticket system. So meaning even if you did have the money, there's no guarantee that you were going to get a ticket because
why did they get so complicated? What the hell?
Because see, and this is the problem that I have with his brothers and people who were around him because they outvoted him. So when they were planning the tour and they were, you know, working it out, because Prince was only going on tour for $15. Bruce Springsteen was only going on tour for $15. They were going on tour for double that. They were going on tour for $30, and at that time, that was a lot of money. So
what year was this?
This was 1984.
84, okay.
So, and basically that alienated a lot of the Black people who were, you know, lower income, you know, urban area Black people, and they shitted on Michael Jackson for that because regardless, because it wasn't out there like, oh, you know, there weren't any books, so they didn't know that he got outvoted and he was the only one. Like Michael Jackson didn't even want to go with Pepsi. Oh wow. He didn't want to go with Pepsi. He was going to take a deal with Quaker Oats because they were going to pay more money, but because he got outvoted, he had to go with Pepsi.
Wow.
Like, and people didn't know that. People didn't know that. So then you already got Black people looking at it like, all right, so you're only setting it up where, you know, well-off white people can go to your shows and we can't come. And then, so then that coupled with the fact that rumors were already, you know, spreading about him anyway. Yeah. So then Black people are like, all right, you know what? You know, we'll buy a Janet Jackson album, and then, you know, we'll boost Janet Jackson, but we're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like that, people, Black people felt like that, and then, you know, once his skin disorder started, you know, to get worse, where it got to the point where he couldn't hide it anymore, because that's what Michael Jackson was trying to do. He was trying to even it out, so he wouldn't have blotches, because it's not like it is today where you go on Instagram and people are pretty, like, you'll see somebody with vitiligo get 1 million likes. Oh my God, this person's so beautiful. It wasn't like that back in the day.
It's a fact. Yeah,
it wasn't normal back in the day
because of that.
What'd you say?
He was looked at as a freak because of that. And the poor man was a perfectionist when he didn't even have control over certain things in his own career.
Like
I think that made him feel. You know what I mean? That's terrible.
Well, because I mean, honestly, it's not his. It was nobody's business, and that was his mentality. Like, I mean, this doesn't really have anything to do with my music, so I'm not gonna, you know, put it out there like that. In my opinion, you know, when he did that Oprah interview that he did, which, you know, was in 1993, I feel like he should have did that like in 85, 86. So that way, you know, let people in back then so people don't have shit to say, because back when it was getting like that, people didn't know. So people were like, oh, Michael Jackson, he wants to be white. He doesn't want to look like his dad and all this other stuff. Yeah. And then it became more so about other stuff than
his music and his greatness. You know what I mean? And to think about, the man has been a superstar, not even a superstar. This man has been like a supernova since he was a child. So we never really couldn't do normal things that us normal people got the luxury. He couldn't go to the grocery store, couldn't take a walk, because the whole world recognized him. You know what I mean? So that type of superstardom comes with a price as well. And that shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because the thing is, people, and he's even been quoted, you know, as saying that, you know, he didn't have a childhood. But I mean, like, I have an interview, you know, from him in '83. So this is like, you know, Thriller era. So basically, when Michael Jackson, how fans have it set up is, so you have the Jackson 5 era, then you have the Jackson's era, then you have Off the Wall era, then you have Thriller. You can say the Thrad era that's in between, then Bad, then Dangerous, then History, then Invincible, then Mature era, then this. So that's how it's all separated. And what was I saying? What was I getting at? Shit, I forgot.
About like normalcy.
I mean, he enjoyed his childhood. I mean, from people that knew him, and even Michael Jackson said that, like,
there's a lot of people
because
don't know too.
Yeah, he loved. I mean, obviously, he loved to make music. Like people called him like a 40-year-old kid because he was always watching. Like when he was in the studio with Stevie Wonder and all the greats, he was watching them. Like with Diana Ross. Well, how do you think like because those Motown years? Yeah, watching them. Now, I mean, granted, there is also that other side where you're a kid and you have like when you're a celebrity, you have an itinerary for the day. Like you have a schedule that you need to fulfill every fucking day. So obviously, as a kid, that can probably be overwhelming. That's like working full time and then some. Because when you're an artist, like when you're in the studio, you go to the studio at 8:00 in the morning. You might not leave till 8:00 at night.
Especially when it was back in the day too. And he was a perfectionist too, so he was taking that. You know what I mean? That wasn't beaten into him. People can't create a perfectionist. So when people are like, oh, his dad, really messed him up in the head and all that. So there's two sides to every story. I don't really agree with it, but you can't teach perfection. You know what I mean? And if you have perfectionists in your blood, you're going to do certain things that people can't understand for your craft.
Well, I mean, I've had, my grievances with, his father, but at the same time, I think Joe Jackson, in rest in peace, because, he passed away last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It was the last year or the year before that. But he deserves a lot of credit because the businessman that Michael Jackson went on to be, he got all of that from his dad. Because if it was not for his dad, the Jackson 5 would have ended up like every other artist on Motown. Like, all right, y'all had a #1 record. It was fun while it lasted. Now we're gonna put y'all on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Berry Gordy, they didn't even want them to write and produce their own records. Oh, wow. So that's like you're an artist. That's like you're a human being, and we're not gonna let you learn how to read and write. They literally tried to marginalize them. They were like, yo, you're not allowed to write, produce your own records. They were like, yo, we want to write our own records. They're like, nope, you can't do that. We have these, writers for you. We have these producers for you. You have to work with them. And then like, that's it. Yeah. Joe Jackson got them out of there. Yeah. He got them out of there. I mean, granted, they couldn't keep the Jackson 5 name, so they became the Jacksons, but still. Yeah. Like he looked out because their dad was a shrewd businessman. And regardless of whatever it is that people would like to say about him and how I might have felt about him in the past, he got Michael Jackson to where Michael Jackson was today. And even Michael Jackson has said that my father was a shrewd businessman, and what I know is because of him. Because people who know Michael Jackson in the boardroom did not play around. Michael Jackson in business negotiations did not play around. Michael Jackson was about his business. He was about his shit. So much so he owned other people's music. He owned other people's masters. He owned the Beatles. Yeah. Yeah. I have a whole book, and in the book, it literally talked about the whole process of him, getting the money to, like, I would have to read it. I remember the exact specifics, but there was a whole process, like a whole financial process in him, because it costed him $47.5 million to buy the Beatles.
But how gangster is that? Like, talk about that backstory with that. That's mad gangster to me. You know what I mean?
Well, you said you want to hear the backstory with that?
Yeah, I don't know. So I know the backstory to that.
I'll give you kind of like the short version. So basically, this is Michael while he's working with Paul McCartney. So let's say this is 81, 82, recording. Like The Girl Is Mine, say. Probably The Girl Is Mine sessions, whatever. And Paul McCartney was about his stuff. So Paul McCartney was into publishing and ownership as far as, music was concerned. So him and Michael Jackson would have conversations about, music and like owning, like music and stuff like that. So once they had that conversation, Michael Jackson started getting into, so basically he called his lawyer, John Branca, and was like, all right, let me know what you can find out about me getting into this. And then he started, buying the rights and like publishing for like other artists. Mm-hmm. So he already owned like Little Richie's music, Sly and the Family Stone. Like he started doing that left and right, like songs that like were on point or that he liked. So he would do that, and then songs that he liked, and then he would just own them because he just had the breath for that. And what ended up happening was he found out well, he verbatim told Paul McCartney like, "Oh, I'll buy your records" or something like that, and Paul McCartney thought that he was playing. And then
gangster.
So what I think what happens is, and I guess it's kind of like this when it comes to like movie rights and stuff. So let's say if Sony has, you know, film rights to Spider-Man, at a certain point, that contract that they have on the film rights to Spider-Man, so like they own the film rights, and then Marvel has merchandising, all the rest of the stuff. Contracts go up on that, and then I guess what they do is they renegotiate stuff. So the rights to a lot of the Beatles catalog was up. And so Paul McCartney and like Yoko Ono and, you know, whoever, you know, the Beatles are, they had the chance to, you know, like, let's say refinance and then like keep it or sell it. So they were like, all right, let's find out what we can get on, you know, this particular, you know, let's find out we can get, let's shop it around.
Yeah.
And then they were going to sell it to, who is it? Because ultimately the guy that Michael Jackson ended up getting it from was some guy out in Australia. So let's say they were in negotiation with this guy, and he was like, "I'm not willing to pay for, you know, this much." So then Michael Jackson heard about it and was like, told his lawyer, "Get in there, and then let's start doing our due diligence," which took a while. So he started doing that like in late 1984, I think.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't get finalized until the following summertime. So while he was shooting Captain EO was when they actually finalized that. So he took out like some. It's like this equity loan or something smart, like not like he just came out of pocket and just paid it. Nah, like he did it like the smart way. So the same way that he went about financing the Thriller video was the same way that he went about financing that whole deal with, you know, buying the Beatles catalog. So
too, as one man, have that much power and like, yo, our own rights to your music. You know what I mean? Like, people were not doing that before. People, rappers and musicians, just getting up on that now. There's like very few artists on their masters.
Well, because artists they don't have the money. What you got with the difference between somebody like Michael Jackson and like other artists is that Michael Jackson had been out and been wealthy since he was a teenager.
Yeah, that's facts.
And Michael Jackson was very frugal with his money. Like, eventually later on in his life, he got like a little ostentatious. He had a lot of money problems. But for a while, he was really smart and frugal with his money.
Yeah.
So just to end that whole story, so they pretty much secured the deal, and the guy that they were getting the catalog from, because it was the Beatles catalog, and it was like a shit ton of songs along with that. So it wasn't just the Beatles catalog. It was that, and then everything that they own on top of that. So that's why it was actually called the ATV publishing. That's what it was called. So it was like that whole thing, and it came with like let's say 8,000 songs that he just owned.
That's crazy. You're getting paid.
So even if let's say if you wanted to have a song that Michael Jackson owned in a movie that you wanted to put out, you would have to get in touch with Michael Jackson to have it in the movie. So a movie that I like, an 80s movie that came out in 87 called Can't Buy Me Love, has a Beatles record in there, which is called Can't Buy Me Love. And Michael Jackson had to watch the movie in order to give them the okay. So he was like, all right, let me watch the movie.
That's crazy. That's just so fire. That's just so gangster, man. Like,
because
crazy.
There's a lot of things to admire, but basically artists today, they don't have the money. Like the only artists that let's say can afford to turn around and buy their own, first of all, their own songs is one thing.
Yeah.
Like let's say New Edition, I'm pretty sure they don't own the masters to their own songs. Like Bobby Brown, I'm pretty sure doesn't own his own songs.
Yeah, I know Chris Brown does.
Because he's got money now. Like Chris Brown, he's got money. Rihanna's got money. Jay-Z's got money. Kanye, like the heavyweights in music today, they have the money where what's $20 million to own their music, because they're gonna make it back.
Yeah,
because every time your song is played on the radio, they get paid. Like figures, like publishing groups called like BMI. Because I learned that shit from Soulja Boy. Like, so every time they play, like, because the thing with Soulja Boy is I think that Soulja Boy owned like the rights to Crank That. Like he was one of the niggas because he wrote and produced a song. So you think that when he got signed, he was just gonna give shit over to them?
Yeah,
that was why. Because I learned that from him. So and he was affiliated with basically, as long story short, he was affiliated with BMI. So every time his song got played on the radio, he got paid. Wow. So that's how it is. But most artists, they don't have the money because they're not looking at it like the long run. So let's say somebody like Frank Ocean, for instance, like, I don't know if you know that whole thing where he finessed his whole record label where he gave them a trash album that finished his contract and then put out the poppin' album with Apple Music. And then you have to think like him.
Yep.
Where do you think he got like that mindset? Probably got it from Michael Jackson. Like just studying what came before him.
Absolutely true.
Yeah,
absolutely true, son.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of things that I admire about Michael Jackson. Because even because before we wrap up about Michael Jackson and his business, like Michael Jackson was trying to own Marvel back in 1994. He was meeting with Stan Lee back then because Michael had the bread. It was just a matter of getting the deal through.
And he had the vision too.
Because Michael Jackson wanted to make movies and he wanted to make theme parks based on Marvel characters and Marvel superheroes because he was a fan. And him and Stan Lee were friends. Like, I have a video where him and Stan Lee are hanging out in the Marvel headquarters, and nigga, that was a business trip.
Yeah, facts.
He was there on business.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
And to have a video game after him as well. Calculated, he would have been the first billionaire artist as well. And not just like $1 billion.
I mean, technically, by today's dollars, he already was.
Oh, yeah. Inflation calculated.
Technically he was. Yeah, already was. But people, because the thing is, these days people want to shirk like the credit. Like they don't want to because that's how people are. Like the same way how Soulja Boy had to come out and then like start yelling and shucking and jiving to get people to give him his credit. That's the same way they feel about Michael Jackson. People would rather give that credit to a Jay-Z or a Beyonce and act like they were the first. Freaking.
It's a reoccurring theme in this country. To strip away the original rights and give credit to give credit to some new motherfucker when realistically nothing is new under the sun. Like I'm pretty sure you heard that phrase. Nothing is new under the sun. Like what Michael Jackson did. I mean, nothing was new under the sun, but at the same time, he kind of like paved the way for a lot of people because, especially a black artist on top of that, like they didn't like that. Yeah. That's why Michael Jackson was like, "Yo, they want to kill me," because he had so much power at that point. Like back when Jay-Z was first coming out, Beyonce, he owned their music. Facts. He was a celebrity because when celebrities be talking about him like he was a god, you know what I mean? Like the celebrity, like the celebrities looking up to Blueprint, like the way Usher, the way Chris Brown, all the popular people now, the way they talk about Michael Jackson, there'll never be another Michael Jackson. Not for our lifetime. I don't believe.
No, I mean people always try to do that. Like that's like if somebody tried to call, like if they see me dance and was like, "Oh, he's the next Michael Jackson." I am not. Yeah, I'm just a student. I'm just a student of the style. Like I'm just a student of the master. Like that's it. Like I wouldn't even try to take that credit. But let's say just run that through your mind real quick. Like look at how big Marvel is right now. So let's say Michael Jackson was like a major stakeholder in the company and he was still alive today.
Crazy. It's crazy. My mind explodes thinking about how if some of the greats were still alive today, how things would be like. Because Michael had a huge voice in like civil rights and stuff like that as well. Back in the day, he was making music about it and trying to transcend the lines with that. Like Black and White. You know what I mean? That song Black and White about race. You know what I mean? Like he was just a figure, you know what I mean? Like fashion-wise, dancing-wise, music, videos, like there's a lot.
He said he's one of the few artists that set a standard that is still followed today. And the only other person that I could think of that also set a standard that is still followed today is Soulja Boy. He's the only one because no one was doing what he was doing before him. He was the first one, and people don't want to give him that credit either. For a lot of
to this day, still they don't want.
You listen to rap, right now. Who do they sound like? They sound like him.
Yeah, that's honestly true.
Like Blueface,
back before mumble rap was even a thing, he was doing mumble rap as well, though.
I wouldn't even call it mumble rap, but he was the one who came out and had the whole swag rap, like the whole tats, all like that young nigga shit. Like Lil Wayne had tats, but Lil Wayne wasn't really a young nigga. Soulja was like 18, 19 when he was doing that.
Have a dance with the song. Had grown folk in the club doing his dance.
And they're all doing what he did already, except they just want to front like he wasn't doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like bro, Brent Faiyaz got a cross tattoo right here, and then like Sandra up here. Soulja Boy had a cross tattoo and SODMG up here. Like he was watching him.
Gigi on the forehead. He was the first one that was going crazy with the face tats. It was like him and Gucci Mane. I'm talking like pre Gucci tattoo. Oh, got you. But even him, he set the stage for that too, because he was one of the first people to get a face tat, and everybody was looking at him crazy. Now everybody got a face tat.
right?
And
But
I
they
don't know
just,
if I'm wrong, but he was one of the first people.
it's just because you know people just want to accept certain things from certain people. But what happened to Soulja Boy eventually, I believe that was his fault. But that's like a whole other topic anyway. But one of the things
while we're still on Soulja Boy could have created Twitch when we were in high school. If he was on his game, like, you know what I mean, like business.
But that's what I'm saying, because he was Soulja was the type of person where he was always trying to find, like, because he was always making a website, because he was like, yo, let me try to make the next website that pops. But there's a lot of things that, so, like, I think we talked about this when we were like walking in the city. Like, he could have made FaceTime, because I didn't see anybody doing FaceTime or any of that until Kiss Me Through the Phone. Like, that was the first time I saw like somebody holding up an iPhone. You see their face, and then right after that music video, he was trying to make his own iPhone application, and it just didn't occur to him like, oh, let me try to do that. Because the thing is, the technology for that already existed, because you had iChat, like you had webcam already.
Hell yeah, it just wasn't in a handheld device yet.
Right. So he just didn't have anybody around him that was pushing to do that, because 9 times out of 10, if you were hang out with him, he's like smoking and in the studio, you know, making. And
that's honestly his fault for not trying to increase that knowledge. He was just, you know, keeping up with the persona, being cool, but he never thought like, damn, if I get smarter and I create this, like, I think about this like a business, I could really, you know what I mean? But you know,
because Soulja Boy was smart. He did and he didn't at the same time, because you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't serve two masters. Like, it's either you're gonna be like a Jay-Z type of artist, or you're gonna be like a, you know what I'm saying, like a Lil Uzi Vert, or you know, one of those artists that are just an artist. Yeah. Because Soulja Boy had Lil B, Lil B, freaking goddamn Lil B. Cleo, he had Big Hill Boss, who hangs out with Chris Brown now. He had Riff Raff. Chief Keef.
That's facts.
In the beginning, freaking Rich the Kid. Who's that guy? Famous Dex. He knew the Migos before the Migos were hot.
That's facts.
All the most of the rappers that are out today that are popping, they came through him.
Yeah.
The first time that they went to LA, they went at Soulja Boy's house. That is a fact. That is a fact. So when Soulja Boy was yelling at him, like, because Famous Dex got mad at him, like Soulja was trying to flex, but nigga, he was telling the truth. You were rocking an SOG chain like 5 years ago, talking about, yo, I'm Soulja Boy's new artist. So don't get mad at him. Like, it's true.
It's fact.
Yeah, ASAP Rocky was like, yo, it's true. Like, you feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. If he would have thought about, you know, not being content with where he was now and took it to the next level, he would have been up there as a legend. You know what I mean?
It's just that it's like, if you come out a certain way, that's like, if I'm an artist and I have, you know, clean face, I have tattoos on my face. People know me for a certain image. Like Pretty Boy Swag and stuff like that was fine. But once you screw up your image like that, because once he got that Gucci tattoo in between his eyebrows, like, that was it. That was when I really checked out as a fan, because I was like, all right, I got more swag. I look better than this nigga now. Like, that was when I stopped being a fan, because, like, I was like, why would you do something like that?
That's when
he even got dropped from a Coca-Cola commercial because he had face tattoos. That they were like, all right, like, because he had like the Chinese symbols here and then stuff right here. They were like, nah, like they dropped him from the commercial. They're like, nah. Yeah. I mean, now it's different. Like, the whole standard is different, because Wiz Khalifa got face tattoos. Chris Brown got face. Chris Brown has an Air Jordan on his cheek.
Fucking Jordan 3.
Freaking
iconic shoe. What the fuck? I don't know, man.
Yeah, because it's shifted. But the thing is, he was the one that, like, took all, like, the bumps and the bruises. Like, he was the first one out the gate, so he got shot.
Yeah.
You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, he was the one who took all the arrows, all the damage. And then everybody else came out, but there was nothing because he took it all already.
Did Soulja Boy ever even come out with an album?
What do you mean?
Yeah, did he ever make an album?
Yeah. Soulja Boy has 3 albums.
He has 3 albums?
Yeah, he's got SouljaBoyTellHim.com, he's got I Soulja Boy Tell Him, and the DeAndre Way. Yeah.
Wow. I only remember the first one then. And DeAndre Way, yeah.
Yeah. No, because the first album was like Crank That. And then the second album was like Turn My Swag On and Kiss Me Through the Phone. And the third album was Pretty Boy Swag. And
this guy DJ got a memory of an elephant, bro.
I'm fake like a historian, man. I'm fake like a historian. For real. I mean, stuff that I'm interested in.
Stuff.
Huh?
You be reminding me about stuff. And then when I remind you, I'm like, damn, like, is that true? Because DJ would remember if anybody would. Like,
yeah. So Yeah, but I mean, that's what happened. Like, let's say Michael Jackson. You can say the same thing about him to get back on topic. Like, he took all the bumps and the bruises for everything.
That's a fact, yeah.
Everything. So he paved the way for everybody. And then people don't want to, like, it's like people did, but it's like they didn't want to give him credit.
Yeah,
like, you get what I'm saying? It's like they would have him come, like, later on in his career to, like, accept awards, but it just.
Yeah. You saw all throughout media, cartoons. It was in, like, the satire. Like, it was bad. Like, he was getting slandered for years.
And
now probably to this day, people will still probably, make fun of.
Well, Michael Jackson had a sense of humor. Like Michael, I say, like when Eddie Murphy would say stuff about Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker, like he liked comedians. So when they would make jokes about him, he would think it was funny. But the thing is, just like me and you, like I could tell when somebody's like just joking with me, and I could tell when somebody's like trying to like comedian, like you know what I mean, like trying to hurt me or some shit about what they said. Michael Jackson knew the difference, just like we both know the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So. And I know there were like people said stuff about him like in bad era. Like people said a lot of shit. Like people, used to call him. I didn't even want to like, people used to call him like Wacko Jacko. Like,
yeah.
And I know he didn't like that. I don't like it. Like that's why I thought twice about saying it because I don't like it.
Word.
You know what I mean?
But he was bold, man. He was not even bold. He was very courageous to not change your persona. Like he wasn't trying to dress like nobody. He wasn't trying to be like nobody. Like
who, Michael Jackson?
Hell yeah! Like he really paved the way.
It's just this is my thing, and one of the like maybe the only tribute artist that I think like that I like or that I find amusing. Well, the only one that's out there like that that's got a following is Michael Trapson, because I watched an interview of his and he was saying like Michael Jackson wasn't perfect. Like
hold on, before you go into that, just explain for people who don't really know what a tribute artist is.
All right, there's a difference. So you have impersonators and you have tribute artists. An impersonator is, let's say, if I were to put on makeup and like make my skin look extra pale, do my nose, relax my hair or wear wigs, and just alter my appearance completely to try to look like Michael Jackson. That's an impersonator, because basically to me an impersonator is like looks first, appearance first, and then everything else is second. There's a lot of impersonators who they don't even dance. Like they don't dance, they don't sing. They just want to look like Michael Jackson.
Take pictures, Times Square. You might catch somebody who's looking like that.
Right. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who have paid money to get their nose done to look like Michael Jackson. Like I don't even know the specific names, but I know that they're out there because you can go on IG. Like there's guys who like you know it's not Michael Jackson, but it's like they paid bread. They're like, where do you even get the money from? Like where do you get 30 G's just to go to the damn
just to look like somebody else? Yeah.
And
it's flattering, but that's that's a little extreme, you know what I mean? Like,
I think Michael Jackson, like he appreciated anybody who loved Michael Jackson. Like if you're doing it because you love him so much, I mean at the end of the day, I think Michael Jackson would accept that for what it is, like, whatever. But a tribute artist is, let's say, like, I don't want to say what I do, but let's say like if I go on stage, I'm paying tribute to Michael Jackson. Where the word artist comes from is like, let's say if you're like really performing and this is what you do. So your whole criteria and the basis through which you perform is like strictly Michael Jackson. So you are a tribute artist. You just pay tribute to Michael Jackson. But these days it's like the lines is blurred, and I don't really like that, where people, it's like they do both. Like don't stop trying to look like him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like stop trying to like just be you, but just pay tribute to him.
You don't have to look like him to
pay homage. You don't have to do all of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't have to like Michael Trapson. He does that, but the thing with Michael Trapson is that there's a difference between like Michael Trapson and Michael Jackson. Like he's kind of like paying tribute. Like he does like do his face up. He gets a Jerry curl. He looks like him, but at the same time, what he gets across is that I'm not Michael Jackson. I'm Michael Trapson, and I'm like my own separate entity. Which I respect that enough, because if you watch some of his stuff on YouTube, it's like it comes from the same place that like my shit comes from.
Gotcha.
But the problem with most Michael Jackson fans is that everybody has their own what they feel their own special relationship with Michael Jackson. Like, I feel like I have one and I've never even met him. And people get offended. Like, if you just don't agree with them on something, like there's Michael Jackson fans out there that feel like he walked on water, he, could do no wrong. And there's things that Michael Jackson, like there's a few things that he just did, because we're not the same person. So of course, like I'm not going to agree with everything that Michael Jackson did. That's like, you know, we were in the car with dude and he was like, oh, you know, Michael Jackson, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. You know, I don't like kids where, you know, I would have a whole bunch of kids that aren't mine, you know, running around my house, but I understand it though, because you have to do the research. I have a whole bunch of books and you see things from his perspective, you'll get it. Because if everybody, and that's like if you win the lottery tomorrow and you haven't even heard from me in like, you know, I don't know how long, and all of a sudden I'm just, you know, every time I talk to you it has something to do with money.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Michael Jackson was surrounded by people who were like that his whole entire life.
Facts.
Especially like once he got like older, like, oh, yo, Michael, can you write a song for me? Can you produce a record? You know, when are you doing this? When are you doing that? Like his own family was like that. I mean, I love the Jacksons, but it was true.
Yeah.
He's looking at him like, yo, when are we going on tour? When are we going on tour? It's like, yo, I've been with y'all since I was 5 years old. Like, can I do it for myself?
Word, yeah.
Which they ended up doing. You know, they all ended up going solo anyway, but it's like, but y'all try to knock him for doing that when he first did it.
Facts, yeah.
And people don't understand that. Like, it's not like, oh, you know, I just want to hang around kids just because. No, because they're the only ones who will give me genuine energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
Who won't judge you as well. That's how you
straight up. Who won't judge you? Like, and even me, I'm 26 years old. Like, I really appreciate genuine energy when I get around it.
Mm-hmm.
So, needless to say, if I live a life that's amidst smoke and mirrors, and I'm just surrounded by people that look at me, they see cha-ching.
Facts, yeah.
And people don't, and it's like you have to forget, like, take Michael Jackson out of the equation. Just think about him as a human being and put yourself in his shoes for once.
They're treating him
People
like
don't want to do it. Like, people look at me funny. Like, I've had people literally come at, like, dog, bro, I'm telling you. Remember, I was at old girl's house and, you know, her sisters, you know, was getting at over some Michael Jackson shit.
Yeah. Taking it personal.
Motherfuckers would literally hate on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, yo, like, I was.
You gotta be great to draw that type of attention. Just because someone's praising, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like I've been, like, to me it's offensive. That's kind of like if somebody tells me like, oh, they don't like you, well, you probably won't like me because, you know, yeah, that's my bro. So if you don't like Michael Jackson, you probably won't like me because like, I'm like, who I am today is like largely due in part to his influence on me from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Him, and if you say you don't like him, well, you probably won't like me either. And like literally like my heart sometimes it like hurt for Michael Jackson because in one of my books, and I wholeheartedly believe this to be true, like Thriller era, like 1983, he would literally like walk around like the rich Encino neighborhood, like walk around at night like looking for somebody to talk to.
Damn.
Like, and I feel alone sometimes. So like, needless to say, somebody like him where you can't even go nowhere because if you do, everybody's gonna swarm up and they don't really love you for you. They love you because you're rich and famous. Yeah, they might like your music, but you don't know me.
Yeah, honestly.
So imagine how alone you feel, and then the only time that somebody's like, "Hey, Michael, let's play outside. Let's do this." You're not talking about business. Is when you're around somebody who's 12 or younger.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man! Like, you gotta feel for that.
It's a fact. Absolutely true.
And because people aren't like always like explaining it that way, they might not get it. Like, I can like explain it like that because I'm 26 years old. I know what that feels like because I mean, relationships with people are smoke and mirrors. Like, it's not like. We don't have you can't find a relationship like we have every day. Like, I don't expect people to understand me and get me. I don't.
Yeah, it's a fact.
It's just what it is. But
no, that's absolutely true. And to be honest, if I had that type of supernova, because he wasn't even a superstar, it was just like a walking god. I'd probably, if I had that much money, I'd probably disguise myself like somebody else. Hop on a
all the time.
Yeah, hop on a dating app and talk to somebody.
Like, if I showed you some of like his getups that he would wear just to like be out, like you'd be like, I wouldn't even know that was him. Like, he would do that a lot, like to go to Disney World, just to go out shopping. He would literally wear like old man costumes and stuff. People wouldn't even know who he was.
Yeah. And
like, let's like they saw his shoes or something like that, or they saw like a little bit of an entourage, but for the most part, he had to do that. Like, even Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, like he was like, yo, like, this isn't fun all the time because he would just be at home. Like, did you see it? Like, did you see it yet?
Yep. I finally was able to watch it. Yep.
Yeah. Did you like that? Like the episode where like he was in the hotel room and he was like, yo, I'm tired of this. Like, I want to hurt and retire because this isn't fun. Yeah. So like, imagine like Michael Jackson, like, because the difference between like Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson is that Michael Jordan, I feel like he was a lot more grounded. You know what I mean? And like more rooted. Like, he had his mom, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he's a basketball player. It's different. You know?
Facts.
And he right. And he didn't have like a lot of like the baggage that Michael Jackson had. So it was different. So it's like you're isolated to like a compound. You can't even go out and enjoy your bread because like if you do 50, 100 people, like the whole street will get shut down.
Legit, yeah.
Like
Legit.
it's like, yo, like there was something on, like I seen it before, but I seen it again on Twitter, where like Michael was at like a hotel like in like Berlin somewhere. Dude, when I tell you like, yo, that whole shit was like swarm with people. I'm talking maybe like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people showed up once they found out that he was there. Like,
The walking god, man.
yeah, like, yo, DJ
Living
Vlad said
legend.
that shit. And DJ Vlad doesn't even like Michael Jackson. He was like, yo, Michael Jackson was like more famous than Jesus. Because
Facts,
like
yeah.
he like, and the thing is, and this is where it gets my problem with Michael Jackson fans now, where because Michael Jackson's skin got lighter over time, people really kind of stopped looking at him as a black person. And then he just became like this ethnicity-less person.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you know what I mean? Like people, like every culture can kind of claim him as theirs because he, you know what I'm saying? Like he just has this ambiguous look at that point.
Facts, yeah.
And where just, you know what I mean? Hispanic people feel like they're his. Like I was like, I remember I did like a little Michael Jackson thing somewhere. And then like after I was done dancing, I went like down to like, you know, like relax and shit. I seen a poster and it was a Michael Jackson poster all in Spanish.
Oh, wow. Love all around.
And,
Yeah.
and this is the problem that I have with and this is what I heard. So let's say if I wanted to like be a Michael Jackson tribute artist, it'd be hard for me to find gigs because they're not looking for black people to do Michael Jackson stuff anymore. Like they want straight white people, straight Hispanic. That's it, bro. That's facts.
That's absolutely nuts.
That's facts. Like they and I seen somebody say this, and this is true. Back in the day, you had to be black to be a Michael Jackson impersonator. You had to be black to be a Michael Jackson tribute artist. Like you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was so big that like when you had impersonators walking around, they were all black. You couldn't be a white boy, and then you know what I'm saying? Like now it's not like that. You don't see it. Like if you go on Instagram right now and you were to look up, you know, like Michael Jackson tribute artist, whatever, white, Spanish, Latino.
With you. None of that, right?
Yeah, Michael Jackson. I mean, Michael Trapson. He's not even like, all right. He's half black, so all right, but he's Dominican, and he looked Dominican.
Got you.
He doesn't look like me or you. He's straight Dominican. Like to me, you know what I'm saying? Like he might be half black, and he claims that, and I get that, dog. But you look Dominican. You are Dominican.
Shit, that's mad interesting.
And he light skinned.
Yeah, that's interesting though how that culture somehow randomly got to that point where it's like, yeah, if you're gonna do, you know, Michael Jackson stuff, you're gonna have to look like, you know what I mean, like the lighter Michael Jackson towards the end of his career, Michael Jackson.
And to me, it's like, and Michael Jackson said this, where when he was younger, like he Dominican, like he thought that lighter was better. Like he was like, oh, you know, when I saw that Michael Jackson got lighter, I wanted to be lighter too. I mean, obviously, he doesn't feel like that now. Yeah. Because the errors of Michael Jackson that he tends to do is like Thriller era, like, you know what I'm saying? And he wants to make that cool because, I mean, they're all white kids, and then they can't, you know what I'm saying, do Thriller. I mean, they can, but they don't want to do that. They want to do who they perceive as white Michael Jackson, which is Dangerous era, History era, and onward. They don't want to, and literally, there are, which is so bizarre, there are racist Michael Jackson fans. How the fuck can you be racist against black people when Michael Jackson was fucking black?
Facts, yeah.
I've gotten into it years ago with racist Michael Jackson fans on Twitter before, like years ago, like back when I used to be on Twitter like that. For real.
And it's crazy though. That's just like, and that's not even just in America too. That's not even just here. That's just like globally too. It's just,
well, I don't know how bad it is in foreign countries, but I know America's got it all fucked up.
Yeah, well, America itself is just,
and my problem with that is like when I was a kid, I didn't see none of that. Like, and I was 5 years old when like Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson. I didn't give a fuck about skin color. I didn't give a shit about none of that. Even to this day, like it's not like, oh, I only know how to dance to Thriller era Michael Jackson and Off the Wall and Before, and I can't do anything else. Nigga, I can do everything. That's why when I was trying to, if you motherfuckers is watching this shit, you MJ Avenger ass niggas, if
you MJ Avenger ass niggas,
bro, that's why when I was trying to get on there and try to do that shit, I was like, nigga, all eras, fuck that.
Yeah,
because and I'm not faulting them for that. Like I get it, because partially the reason why I feel like that towards them is because Michael Jackson fans are like fragmented. Like it's like that's like if I know me and you play UFC, but for whatever reason you want to play with me.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
And then so you know what I'm saying? Like it's like if you go to the basketball court, you try to play pickup, and then like for whatever reason they're like, oh nah, you can't play with us. You're gonna be like, well, fuck y'all then.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, of course.
Like that's how I felt because I ain't gonna front. Like was it 2018? I hit a couple of them niggas up. I was like, yo, like, oh, I see y'all dance. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm lone wolf out here. I want somebody to dance with. Like I don't know any Michael Jackson fans. When I talked to Allison Jackson out in Paris, he don't know nobody either, and he out in Paris.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm the only one that, and I was like, damn, well, hopefully, I can meet you one day. I'll come out to Paris. We'll dance together. I'm trying to do like a little, tribute thing with him, like a little choreography thing with him somehow, if I can make it work. Like, they don't hang out. Like, Michael Jackson fans, they don't want to connect with nobody. You probably hit them up. Like, they don't want to show you no love. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm black. Like, I don't get it.
Could be the media too. The way the media does such a good job at slandering people's names and just like ruining their reputation, like for years.
Well, the media is not an excuse for why another Michael Jackson fan wouldn't want to hang out or like talk.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now I have Michael Jackson fans that are friends. Like years ago, I used to use a Michael Jackson forum called Positively Michael, and it actually got shut down by like the Michael Jackson estate and shit like that, which is crazy. So basically, they were keeping an eye on our forum. Like they were. Yeah. They were on there like watching. Like I didn't see anything like specifically. I used to be on there heavy because again I was a Michael Jackson fan. I want to talk about Michael Jackson stuff, so I would go on there. Apparently, someone offended Michael Jackson's hairstylist named Karen Faye, and she heard about it and like pulled the plug on that shit. And she was like, wow. So then, my favorite forum that I used to be on there all the time. I had like 900 something posts on there, like Rep Power, all that shit gone. Yeah. Gone. Then from there I had like no one to talk to because like I know one girl and she like posts Michael Jackson pictures on there. That's where I know her from. Yeah. But that's about it. Like I don't know anybody, you know what I'm saying? Like who's really up on what I'm on like that. So when I go on Instagram and I see, somebody listen to the same Michael Jackson songs, Jackson records that I'm listening to, they dance like him, they try to dress like I'm like, yo, let's hang out.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then they like I mean, two of them are kind of cool because they're not from New York. So I'm like, all right, I get that. But it's not like they were like, oh, we'll let you know next time we're coming out. They say none of that. They were like, we don't live in New York. They didn't follow me back, nigga. None of that shit, bro.
Oh, wow.
I remember this like it was yesterday. I went on Instagram. Y'all followed them. I like all this shit. I DM'd them. I was like, yo, so what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's try to connect in this because that's Michael Jackson's whole thing. Song and dance. Let's dance. These niggas, they didn't follow me back, dog.
Living on in the spirit of Michael Jackson. That's exactly what will make him happy. You know what I mean? Make him proud.
Nigga, they didn't follow me back. They were just like, yeah, nah, bro. We're not from here. And then that was it. Not even like none of that. Like, so of course I'm gonna be like,
that's what Michael Jackson's music was all about: love and peace.
No, because I'm not even going to front. And Michael Jackson talked about this shit. This is why I'm like, he the only one who seemed like he keep it real. Because he's like, yo, they probably see me and get intimidated. Like, for real. Like, they probably look at my Instagram page. They'd be like, oh, shit. Like, he got the shoes up, Michael. He got the sunglasses and shit like that. I don't want to hang around with him because he's probably better than me. But I'm like, well, we'll make each other better. Like, we
facts, yeah.
You might know a move that I'm working on that I'm trying to get better because that's how it is. Like, I'm practicing moves for years. Like, I just do it for fun.
And that's what Michael Jackson himself was doing. So it seems like there's a lot of impersonators who are trying to impersonate somebody.
Because the thing is they want to feel like they're like some of them, like they really want to feel like they're Michael Jackson. Like they're
not even living in the spirit of Michael Jackson.
No,
that alone, you know what I mean?
Their whole shit is they want to be Michael Jackson and he's not here no more. So then they feel like they're him now. Like they're really I've seen it with my own eyes. That's why I was like, yo, like when I was really like trying to like get on some shit where I get on the internet, I dance. I was there like, yo, I'll tear this whole shit down and build it back up because the way it is right now, it's like not on point. And I called it out. I mean, Michael Trapson's doing it because from what I've seen from him, he was trying to get, that's how the MJ Avengers started. He said, he was like, yo, so basically he was trying to do like a We Are the World like dance thing where all the tribute artists and impersonators that he can get together, he was going to try to get them all together and they would do like some kind of dance tribute to like a certain anniversary of Michael Jackson's death. But the thing is, he ran into the same problem. Niggas wasn't trying to like collab.
That's true. You've never seen that before either. And the internet too. It's been 11 years and I've never seen that one.
I didn't hear about this. So then he said the people that said that they were down, the ones that they were left over, they were the ones who became, the MJ Avengers, and then they hang out. So they actually came up here. They were in New York,
Oh, wow.
and then they were all dancing like Michael Jackson. They were doing all that stuff, and then like, so I'm seeing this, and you know me, I've been doing this since before them.
Facts,
Because a lot of these people, they waited until he passed away to find out who he was, and then started. And that's my other problem with them. Not that I'm not knocking people who decided they want to be a fan, but I'm like, nigga, I've been doing this since I was 5 years old.
Yeah,
I started doing this shit like 4, maybe 5 years ago, and the only reason why you're doing it is because it's your bread and butter, and you got internet clout.
Yeah.
Because you're white or you're Hispanic for the wrong reasons, not because, like, would you be doing it for free? Like, if
all that wasn't exist, you know what I mean? Yeah,
true. Like, would you be painting, or would you still be into art for free? Or are you only doing it because you're getting paid? And you don't really
Me personally, shit, I'm in my studio right now.
Yeah.
Always working on something.
Yeah, like, because you like to do it, regardless if you ever get like, like the only time I ever felt like I got like recognition was like, you know, when I was on stage with Spike Lee and stuff like that. That was, and to me, I feel like I don't need anybody else's, you know, approval because he directed a Michael Jackson music video. Asked me to come on stage the second time.
Knew MJ personally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like Michael Jackson called him because he wanted Spike to do a video. They went out to Brazil. They worked on 2 videos together. So he seen Michael Jackson do it in action. So if he approve of me, that's all I need. Like, I don't need anybody else to approve. So that's why I'm like, all right, well, if y'all don't want to dance with me, well, fuck y'all then. Like, I didn't need y'all approval anyway. I was just trying to do it so we can have fun because, you know, like, this is group choreography. Michael Jackson don't do shit by himself.
Shit, you should throw that little plug on there. What was it, 2-3 years ago? You brought me out to that MJ block party, Spike Lee block party. What was it?
That was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago? Yeah, and Spike personally, because again, a lot of the shit you be saying, people be like, this nigga's capping, he's lying. Nah, DJ ain't no fucking liar. Like, dude was on stage, you know what I mean? Dancing MJ. We got videos of that shit and all that. Spike Lee personally was like, yo, you pointing to me, talking about, yo, you.
Yeah.
Get this guy upstage, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's one for the books, man.
So real people that know you know this shit is not day up, it's not cap, it's not conveniently because it was his anniversary. Like, DJ been about this since 1998.
Like, I never got any recognition for it, and I'm one of like I'm like in the world. I feel like I'm top 5. Real shit. If they did the contest tomorrow and they were like, oh, we're looking for the best Michael Jackson guy ever, like there's only like one guy that I know who could probably beat me and he got handpicked by Michael Jackson to do This Is It. He's the only, and he's black. He's the only one that like, all right, could give me some work. But if it's for like stage presence, like you give me the dancers, you give me the lighting, you give me the outfit and all that shit, nigga, like I'm like top 3 contestants, like.
What do you feel most confident like as far as performance?
What do you
on
mean?
Stage performance?
What do you mean?
What song would you perform that you feel most confident in?
I could do damn near any song, bro. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie called The 5 Deadly Venoms. Have you ever seen that before?
Nah.
Okay, so basically there's this kung fu master who taught 5 different like students. So he taught one student the style of the toad, the style of the snake, the style of the scorpion. One like basically there's like 2 other ones. So let's say like the centipede, and then like I don't know, you know what I mean, the Beatles. So let's say like 5 of them, right? Then he taught one more student all 5 of their styles. Nigga, I'm that 6th student that just knows all of them. So that's why I'm like, I know all the eras. Like you could put a Jackson 5 record on, I could dance the shit out of that record. Because when I went on stage to do the first block party, they brought me on stage to do Enjoy Yourself, which isn't like the most popular, but I worked that shit. I know the song.
Yeah.
Like I know
crowd engagement and all that. Like at the end of you better plug the videos at the end. I know you got the videos still. Plug a couple. Check out
my Dimitri MJ channel. Hell yeah. Exactly. I mean, because it's and this is another problem too. Notice how a lot of the guys, except for that one dude from France or wherever he's from, a lot of the guys who go viral for like Michael Jackson stuff, they're white.
Yeah.
They're white. Like the last one, he did like a talent show. He was a white boy. Yeah. And then like this shit got like freaking 15 million views like across YouTube. And I'd be seeing this shit. I'm like, and then what's funny, he was like, I didn't know Michael Jackson until after he died. He was like, he saw the hysteria, how like the world stopped. He wanted to find out who he was, and he found out who he was, and then that's how he became a fan. I'm like, but I'm pretty sure you heard about him before that, but you just didn't care.
Yeah,
you didn't care until you saw everybody else care.
Or you heard all the negative slander, and it was like, oh, MJ was a weirdo. Yada
Oh
yada yada.
yeah. Brett Michaels is his name, and like I said, I mean he's a fan. He's a fan. You know, I mean that's fine, but I just can't help but give them the side eye a little bit because you just didn't. You know what I'm saying? You didn't send that love energy out to Michael Jackson until after he passed away.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
mom always says this, it always gets me going. My mom was like, "Oh, like, you know, Michael Jackson would have been thrilled to like have met somebody like me because I never got to meet him. Like when Jordan Lucas is like, you know, you lose your idols, you don't even get to say bye. Like I feel like that. But what I was saying to Alliston from Paris, I'm like, yo, like every time I'm just in my room and I'm just jamming out, like I feel like I'm like connecting with him. Like I have that connection. Like
You are, because music.
I'm just like projecting like so much energy. Like I'm just sending it here and there every time I'm dancing. I just feel like there's no way that spiritually he does not know who I am.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there's no way.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Soul tie, you know what I mean? Like he's with you in spirit when you listen to his music and you putting that passion out there. You dancing just like how he would.
Right.
He's with you in spirit. Real shit.
Man. I mean, it's crazy. And again, this because some of these motherfuckers would probably take it like I'm undermining what they feel like their personal relationship with is. I'm not. It's just the bottom line is like, yo, you gotta accept the fact Michael Jackson said Michael Jackson was black. And when you're dancing on Michael Jackson, you try to look like him, that's you biting off of black culture. So you technically a culture vulture. You just get it passed because, you know, I guess, you know, this is what Michael Trapson said. That's why I fuck with Michael Trapson. I fuck with Michael because literally he's the only one that's saying that. The rest of these guys, they won't be saying nothing. What's funny, like when Leaving Neverland came out, a lot of them who like from foreign, some of these guys are from foreign countries. I'm talking like they be doing tours, straight up Michael Jackson songs. People be showing up like it's Michael Jackson, dog.
Wow.
They be caking. Like this one dude, his name is like Rodrigo or something like that. Like it'd be Fabio Jackson, Rodrigo Jackson, Hector Jackson, like all these dudes, they be making bread.
Wow.
Yeah, like I seen some shit
black.
packed out. You're doing this off of black culture. Like what, Michael got to be here to tell you that he's black? Like you don't know that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like even some girls. So on my Instagram, right? I don't even know if I told you this. I told my sister. So I posted. They call themselves the MJ Avengers, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm just being salty. I'll be straight up. I'm salty because y'all didn't want to hang out with me. And I posted this Thanos shit where Thanos was like, I'm gonna fuck y'all up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her name is Krista Dances MJ, and then she's from Switzerland. She a girl.
Yeah.
And then she commented on my shit like, oh, you know, what's that supposed to mean? I didn't even respond to this bitch because first of all, yo ass got like 20,000 followers on motherfucking Instagram and shit like that. Nigga, I had like 55. Yeah, so in my head anyway, I'm like, well, why the fuck do you care what the fuck I'm saying if you got 20,000, you know, followers on there? Yeah. Why do you? I didn't even respond because I'm like, yo, already if you coming at me, I mean, you first of all look at my page. I'm about the same shit that y'all about.
Word, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I probably could have hit her back and been like, yo, you know, this is why. You know, at the end of the day, I'm like, well, first of all, you live in Switzerland, so you can't even relate to me anyway.
Yeah. Culture, yeah.
And I seen her try to talk about Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. I'm like, I mean, you're only saying that because you're forced to acknowledge that because Michael Trapson's saying something. Mm-hmm. He calling y'all out, and he got almost like the most clout out of everybody, at least in America. Because you got like there's another guy named E. Casanova, and he came out as a pedophile, like he on some R. Kelly shit, and he and Michael Jackson, and he making us look bad.
Wow. Like he came out as a pedophile, or he got caught.
So apparently, he's a Michael Jackson. He met Michael Jackson and everything like that. Like he's been out since like the '90s as like a Michael Jackson impersonator.
Yeah.
Me and my sister, shout out to my older sister. We even watched something on like VH1 back in the day, like early 2000s, where he was like VH1 like interviewed him as like a Michael Jackson impersonator. So he got the Michael Jackson cosign. However, he'd be like talking to like underage girls on IG, like trying to meet up with them and shit.
Bugging out.
And Michael Trapson, you know, called him out on that. So it's literally like the Michael Jackson, like at least like Beyonce, like they're a united front. Like they got the Beehive, and then like they're just like, you know, Beyonce fans.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like Chris Brown fans, you got Team Breezy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Michael Jackson fans is literally like they try to call themselves like MJ fam, Moonwalkers. It's not like that. This like it's screwed up. Like you just can't. Like,
you think that's on purpose though? Because he was coined the king of pop. You think it's also one of those, because they take away all our black greats. They really be whitewashing history and all that stuff. You think that he was a victim of some type of whitewash or whatever? Because it's almost coincidental. Not even coincidental. It's kind of weird how allegations, because he was never accused. He was never found guilty of nothing.
Yeah,
it's crazy how just allegations could go that far. Where you got, like I think Family Guy was making fun of MJ. You know what I mean? All those other things, and it's so deeply rooted. You think it's on purpose, or you just think
bruh, that's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Because if there was a celebrity who wasn't in cahoots, like to our second podcast, which y'all can go check out if you made it this far. If there was a celebrity that wasn't in cahoots, he was one of them. Because you remember how I was talking about how when there's that one celebrity who's like not in accord with everybody else, the media shits on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I think like something happened with him, like super below the surface that we don't know about. That like since then he was one of those like malevolent people or like the good people that was like had the resources because Michael Jackson gave back. He was one of those people that gave back. Yep. He was on tours. He was going on tours. He was going to children's hospitals. He was freaking financing. Like there was a kid who had a like some terrible like disorder where his skin was green, and he met him in a foreign country. Wow. Do you know Michael Jackson took care of him like financially for the rest, like was cutting checks like to keep him alive for the rest of his life. So that same kid is alive today and has Michael Jackson to thank for him being alive.
Wow.
Like Michael Jackson gave back. How many artists do you know now that like are doing that without like asking for the pat on the back? Like you didn't know that. Like he was cutting checks. Michael Jackson was out here, and people just forget that. Like he was.
They don't even acknowledge it. And now, in order to know all this stuff, you got to do research. You got to really want to get to know him to know all of that stuff. Because surface level people, like when I have kids or like young people today, they don't know who Michael Jackson is until they start researching him, or if their parents tell them like, "Oh, the greatest," the king of pop, da 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 da. Then they'll start looking into it. But
the last time that I got my hair twisted, which was maybe a few years ago, and while I was at her house, her son, like one of her sons, loves Michael Jackson, and this kid was like 4 or 5 years old, and like he reminded me of myself when I was a kid. Like he didn't like when I was a kid, like I didn't have a hat. I used to use a pillow as like a fedora hat because I didn't have one. He was doing the same shit.
Oh shit!
And then what's funny, like because I was kind of like dressed like Michael Jackson, he thought that I was Michael Jackson for a second. He was like, why did you do this in this video? I was like, what? I was like, yo, but
nah, bro, the spirit speaks. You know what I mean? Not to say that, you know what I mean, but it's not. Yeah,
but
he's asking you that.
But what makes me feel good is that like his music still reaches people to this day. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, but like you said, like how whitewashing. Michael Jackson was saying how like there's a reason why like when you see like Michael Jackson now or like when they show him sometimes like they only show like white Michael Jackson, like they're not going back and like showing like when he looked like us, which he still did. It's just he had vitiligo. Like people didn't see Michael Jackson without makeup. Like when you saw him like that, like in bad, he was wearing makeup. Like underneath the makeup, like he had skin tone like us. Like, it was just like blotches. So like his hands, like right here, they'd be like like patches. Like darker skin, but
isn't that when he first started wearing the glove?
No. Yeah, see that's a rumor because Michael Jackson was wearing a sequin glove years before Motown 25. Like he was wearing that on the Destiny tour. People just Destiny tour and Triumph tour. People just didn't like notice that, which was funny. And he didn't think that the glove was what was gonna catch on. He thought that people were gonna care about his socks. He was like, why? Like he thought that people were gonna be like focusing on the socks.
They should have, honestly.
But
socks, you know what I mean? Like
right, just where is that? Where is that at? Yeah, right here. I have this book all about Michael Jackson's style here.
Oh shit, dope.
And in this book, it literally talks about the oh my gosh, I haven't opened this book in a while. Like it's hard to turn the pages on my book, about his socks.
Mm-hmm.
His socks, and then like how like
in the museum somewhere,
huh?
They're in the museum somewhere.
Well, first of all, some of the museums got counterfeits in there, and like you go to Hard Rock Cafe, they don't got real Michael Jackson stuff in there. Like whatever it is that they do have on display is fake. It's fake. But there are exhibits where they're what I'm saying, like Lady Gaga got Michael Jackson clothes that he wore. Like she has
Oh,
some
wow.
of the stuff because she has this. She has this.
Oh, wow.
She has that. Like she straight up has that. And she wore it because she wore it to like a couple of events.
Wow. Bro, if you had a piece of Michael Jackson's clothing, would you have the balls to wear that?
Well, first of all, I couldn't fit because Michael Jackson was 5'11". I'm
You was
almost
5'11"?
6'5". Yeah, Michael Jackson was 5'11". It's because he was skinny, so he,
Yeah, I always thought he was above 6 feet.
Well. This is the thing with Michael Jackson style of dance is that his whole dance style is to make him appear larger than what he actually was. So that's why when you watch him, right, there's like a method to Michael Jackson's style of dance, especially like when you know it like me, you'll actually come to understand that. Like once you try to master certain steps, it was to make him look taller. So let's say when you do something like the moonwalk, Michael Jackson, so his Motown 25, his stride, the stride is like when you're going backward. His stride initially was small. So he had a small stride. But as time went on, he had a bigger stride, which would obviously give off the appearance of him being a lot taller than he was, which, he was average height. He was 5'11".
But nah, that's dope. I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's a rumor. People say, yeah, it started on his hand. So that's why. No, because what's funny, his first glove that he wore on Motown 25 was actually a left-handed glove. It was on his left hand. But moving forward, it was on his right hand, obviously, because Michael Jackson was a righty. He wasn't a lefty.
And the one that he wore on Motown, or was it the one he wore on Motown? Wasn't it a modified golf glove that he created himself?
No. It's
a lot of rumors around that guy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that a lot of the rumors, but I will tell you that the jacket, the sequin jacket that he wore on Motown 25, that was actually his mom's.
Oh wow,
that was his mom's. Yeah. He went through his mom's closet and he found it and he wore it. Wow. And then since then, he just wore improved versions of that over time. So he would just make modifications to make it performance ready. Because one of the things in the King of Style, which is actually true, and I've actually experienced this when I danced Michael Jackson, that so let's say like if I were to go on stage and I want to dance on Michael Jackson, I have to wear clothes that are going to be extensions of my dance. So let's say it has to be like if I spin, the jacket has to work for the spin. If I push my jacket back, it's got to work for that. My pants, they got to work. Like literally, that's why like I don't post a lot of videos because like I got a Virgo Mars. Michael Jackson was a Virgo, so my approach and my drive is perfectionistic and it's analytical in that way where I'm not just gonna post some shit out there if this shit don't look right. Like if it don't look right, I'm not gonna post it.
Been that way too, honestly.
Yeah, that's why I just don't. Yeah, that's why I just don't put a whole bunch of shit out there like other people do. It works for them. Like Dennis, like he be posting dance videos. Like I'll be want to ask him, like,
Dennis?
Huh?
My cousin?
Yeah. I'd be like, I don't know if you see, I'd be liking this because I would want to ask him, like, yo, how'd you set up the shot? Like, I at least want to get a shot that looks like that on a base level so I could post more videos up. But, that's my thing. Like, if it don't look right, I'm not going to post it. Like,
gotcha.
I'm just not happy with it. Like, if I go to the dance studio and I record it, if I don't like it, I'm just not going to – I'll just take that day for that day and I'll come back next time.
You've been picky, bro, but in a good way.
You
know what you want and you do something for less.
That's where astrology, I showed you the app. Like I have a Virgo Mars, like that. I have a perfectionistic drive and approach to my drive in life. Like that's just an aspect to my character. So once I found that out, I'm like, oh, that's why. And Michael Jackson was like that because Michael Jackson was a Virgo.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was, I won't say that all Virgos are perfectionists, but obviously
it's a characteristic of y'all. I'm just starting to get into it because you and my sister, and I got the app as well. But
no, I mean, that's where it comes from. But basically, and the game in terms of being a Michael Jackson fan and fans being, like I would have this shit popping. Like if I had my way, I would have meetups available to anybody, whether you dance on Michael Jackson or not. Like if you're trying to learn or whatever. I can wait for Spike Lee to just have his block party whenever he feels like doing it. No, I make my own block parties. Everybody you want to get on stage, come on stage, and then it'll be structured where you want to come on stage and rock out, come on stage and rock out. But everybody would have that space to be able to do so. And I wouldn't just, relegate it to just, 6. All right, yeah, it's cool. Like if you have like a core group of people, that y'all hang out with, but still If you want to get down on it, come and get down on it. Just like how I had SODMG gamers on PlayStation. You want to say you come play with us? Well, come try out.
It's facts.
You at least get.
That's another, and it's a gaming channel. That's a whole nother podcast, bro. That's a whole.
And
nother
remember,
podcast.
that was my idea. That
Absolutely,
was my idea.
Fact, yeah.
When it was popping.
Tryouts.
Yeah, when Soulja Boy gave us that shout out, and it was popping like that. It was my idea. Like, all right, you know what? We can't have everybody in this shit, but at least we'll let people try out. We would have mad people hit us up like, yo, we want to come try out. So we have. If you remember, I had one dude. So you had to play me a knifing. You had to knife me. Then you had to play Smug with no radar on, and you had to play LB with radar on. So you had to go through all three of us.
I remember that.
Yeah. So some people,
I could have been an honorary member with my quick scoping, bro. My quick scoping was on.
I mean, I think you would play with us here and there. Like you would play Michael Myers with us.
Yeah, no, every now and again. But when Smug, do you remember when me and Smug was quick scoping together?
No, you used to play with us. Yeah, like obviously, like if you know me, like you're gonna play with us. So like, facts. So you got that pass.
Yeah,
remember we were playing with Soulja Boy. We were playing with Soulja Boy though. I had you take that SOD out. I was like, nah.
Oh yeah, facts.
I was like, bro, take that out. I said, nah. I was like, nah.
I don't remember
take that out. Yeah, because I was like, nah. I said, no, you
honorary member, but niggas was dead on, yo.
But that's how I would have it set up though. Like there would be that organization because I don't like. All right, it's just the MJ Avengers, and then if somebody like me comes along, I can't get down with it.
Yeah, you don't want to alienate people like that.
Yes, that's why I was like,
somebody doesn't make any sense.
Hey. Well, if any MJ Avengers motherfuckers, one of you niggas is watching this shit, hey, if you still sitting here and you watch everything that I said so far, and you're saying, because I'm probably gonna title this motherfucker MJ Avengers in that motherfucker. So one of you curious George ass motherfuckers is gonna watch this shit. The only reason why I was mad at y'all to begin was because you guys none of y'all followed me back on Instagram. You see me liking y'all shit, y'all didn't fucking reciprocate. Yeah, it wasn't mutual. So if I can't hang out with y'all motherfuckers because you scared of me, you think I'm better than you, that's not why I want to come around. I just want to come around and have fun. If I can't have fun with you motherfuckers, fuck you.
Enjoy the culture. That's a fact.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Because there's a couple black niggas in that shit. His name is Ulonzo. Yeah, I know you. EULONZO. I hit you up. This nigga didn't even fucking respond. That nigga's from New York. And he's an off-the-wall era ass. He off the wall.
Some gunshots up in this podcast. Yo, some gunshots.
Hey. Because I'm going to title this shit Everything Wrong with the Michael Jackson Fan Community, MJ Avengers, and Michael Trapson. I have no problem with Michael Trapson. He's my height. He tall.
Where's he from?
He from Philly.
He's not even far. We should set that up.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just how niggas are. Like, you don't say you show love to somebody. There's no guarantee that another nigga is gonna show love back. That's what niggas just scared to show love these days.
Yeah,
because they don't know if they're gonna get it back.
It's almost as if it's weak to show love to people.
Yeah, like
crazy.
Yeah,
and then the love that you do get, it be from people that you don't even know.
That's a fact.
Like, and you were the one saying that as well.
Like, I was watching The Five Bloods yesterday, right? And what's crazy, bro? So I started watching the beginning of the movie, and then I fell asleep. Like I took a nap, and then when I woke up, it was the part where they were like in the forest, and then the dude got blew up by like the landmine.
Oh, the landmine, yeah.
That was when I woke up, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" But in the beginning of the movie, he was like, "Yo, back in the day, there used to be pride in being black." Like, and then like you know what I'm saying? I run into you, I don't know you, we're both black. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's not like that anymore. And obviously that stems into, you know, what I was saying in the second podcast was how we treat each other. And that's why there's always going to be a lot of
cultures too. Not just the MJ culture or whatever. Like I ride a motorcycle. You know how many people I hit up that's like from Rockland, like, yo, whenever you're free, let's go out and get a ride. I have yet to set up a ride with other motorcyclists and like in my own town. Not to say I'm like mixy or whatever, but you know, in the case maybe. But it's a lot of like alienated, you know, shit going on.
Well, I don't know why. I just don't know why it's like that. Now, again, I mean, I understand, like, if you don't know somebody, obviously I'm not going to invite somebody into my house if I don't know them. But at least if, like, you could look at somebody's IG, let's say a Michael Jackson fan, you look at my Instagram, you see Michael Jackson nuances all on my shit.
Facts.
All on my shit.
Share a passion, like.
Yeah, like, I don't like, bro, I've never been shy, like, for a while, like 2016, 2017, bro, I was walking around with, like, high waters. And like my white side, like you know that,
yeah.
Like I don't care. Like I walk around my shoes now. I wear my Michael Jackson shoes to work every day with white socks. So people are like, oh, wear black socks. It says who?
Yeah,
I wear white socks. Only. You rarely catch me on with black socks on. Maybe other color socks, but rarely with black socks and those shoes on. Almost never. And if so, I'll switch them.
You're not a conformist, bro.
Yeah, like
yourself.
I don't remember that we went to freaking Jeff's house, and the Vanessa was like, "Oh, you're supposed to wear." She's like, "You're supposed to wear black socks."
Casual.
I was like,
casual to wear like socks that match the color of your pants.
What's
like
funny?
That.
Michael Jackson said that his brothers used to make fun of him for wearing white socks. Look at him now.
Yep, man, and you continue on with the culture, bro.
When he first started wearing white socks, he said his brothers and family, they were clowning him like, "Oh, why are you wearing white socks? Because old people wear white socks." He said, "Watch."
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Look at him now. Everybody, for a long time, people were wearing white socks and black shoes to be like Michael Jackson. So,
fact, yeah.
In life, go against the grain. Because I question everybody who goes with the grain. I like the person who goes against the grain.
It's a fact.
Second podcast.
Yeah, we got a lot of podcasts coming soon, man. A lot of podcasts, man.
But that's pretty much. Yeah, we pretty much kind of covered everything. I think. Yeah, I think we touched everything so far. But that's just my problems and my grievances with the Michael Jackson community in a nutshell. For the most part, I think that might be everything that's fucked up and wrong with it as far as I'm concerned. It's just that we don't come together.
Yeah,
that's all. Like, and if I had my way, and motherfuckers probably won't listen to me until like I'm famous. I'm rich and famous, and unfortunately, people won't listen to me as like a regular nigga with 400 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just what it's because Michael Jackson got like 300,000.
Oh wow.
No, Chris Brown like posted one of his videos and everything. Like he makes skits.
Yeah.
I know. I was cool with his boy, Mike Light. He's from Philly too. I was trying to connect with him for whatever reason. He's just slow to do it. Like he would hit me up, like he would DM me, like, "Oh, what's up, man? Yo, I love your jacket." And I would be like, "I mean, if you want to hang out, bro, just tell me, but just don't."
Yeah.
I straight up told him like twice. I was like, "If you want to hang out, just tell me you don't want to hang out." He'd be like, No, man. And then like now he's a Chris Brown tribute artist, and then he just want to look like Chris Brown and like do Chris Brown choreography and stuff. So he don't hang out with Trapson no more.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he never told me that personally, but like once I saw that they don't follow each other, and then like he said that on his podcast, how like they just do different shit, because he would because he would go around and wear Jerry curl and go to nursing homes and retirement homes and do Michael Jackson gigs.
Oh wow.
He'll probably get paid. Like, I mean, if you do that, but he's not black. Mikey Light is freaking Spanish, or he look Hispanic. I mean, his real name Francis. So, but he looks Spanish. He don't look black.
You shed light on that, I would have never knew, and it's the weirdest thing too.
It's strange, but it makes me feel bad sometimes. Like I can't like hang out with another Michael Jackson fan because they won't like me because I'm black.
Share a passion. Yeah.
Like that's racism.
Actually,
he said that people told him straight up like, "Oh, I don't like black Michael Jackson. I don't want to do black Michael Jackson." Like, oh, I don't like Thriller because he was black. Oh, I don't like Jackson, J5 era because he was black back then. I don't like Off the Wall because I can't do it because he was black. I can only do white Michael Jackson.
Well, shit, yo, they made us believe for mad long that fucking Beethoven, was it Beethoven or Bach? One of those great composers was white, and he was actually black.
Dude.
Yeah, so if they did it to, from the 1600s or whenever that music was coming out.
Dude, yeah.
Like they're doing it to this day still.
This is way off topic, but I love black women. Like, you date a black girl, I love black women. Like, I'm probably, only want to be with a black woman. So there's a reason why there's only black women can. All right, so let's say I have kids with a black woman. Only black women are able to bear a child that's like super pale.
Yeah,
they're the only ones who can birth a baby that looks nothing like them.
Yep.
White women, they can't do that. They have sex with a black guy, it's gonna come out like white tan. They can't produce like black babies. White women can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the black woman kind of originated like humankind as we know it, as far as I know. This is why I feel like if Jesus was a person, he wasn't a white guy.
There's evidence supporting that as well, bro. Like black woman got that one gene to create every single one of the races.
Yeah, exactly. You know
what I mean?
It was like the black woman has like the mitochondriac.
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah.
True. Absolutely true. That's why they say the black woman is God.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I mean, black women are a little, antsy, but you know what I'm saying. But regardless, I mean, can't have everything.
Word, it's true. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, I'll put up with it, whatever. But that's a fact. That's why I said, whatever it is, it's so much bigger than we were told. Because I mean, come on, man. Like, I know Uncle Ruckus. Like,
word, yeah.
I question that because remember in the episode of Boondocks where he's like, "Oh, praise white God."
Facts,
come on, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Come on, man. Like,
no way, yeah.
No. It's either he looked like whatever. Like, there's you can't. You know what I mean? Like, pin it to one particular. Or he was black.
Yeah, honestly, wool hair, you know what I mean, brown skin, all that stuff.
And I wouldn't really give a shit, for somebody to tell me otherwise because an artist created that image that everybody knows.
It's an Italian man.
That.
Yeah, it's an Italian.
Did that.
Yeah,
not. Fact. Yeah, that wasn't on like a what is it called when aliens they like beam down and then like the grass is like cut in a certain way. I forgot. Crop circles.
Crop circles. Yep. Crop circles are real too, right?
Yeah, dude.
A real crop circle, it'll show like the flattened earth, but the bugs that's in the
young Pharaoh. Yep, you seen that young Pharaoh?
Yeah, the bugs that are in the soil, and I looked it up. This shit is
They're
true.
not dead. They're
frozen.
Yeah,
and like it's just mad weird, but it's not weird because it's like it's true shit. You know what I mean? But the more you know, what I mean. The more you know.
Like I seen that whole video. Yeah, so you've been watching. Yeah, you've been watching.
Yeah,
I seen that shit.
And another thing he said is true. The soul knows the truth. One can't sell you a lie and you really believe it, or unless it was like a really good salesman. But once you hear the truth, it's hard to go back from the truth. You know what I mean? Exposure, yeah.
Exposure. Like, once your mind expands, it can't go back down.
Right, yeah.
It can't go back down.
Yeah.
In Pokemon, like once you level up in a video game, you can't go back to level one.
Yeah,
once you level up, you level up. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's either you get better or I mean you just level up for no reason.
It's a fact, yeah.
That's a fact. So that's why, and that's why. I mean, it's the same thing with Michael Jackson. Why he can only be when you see him. Like, remember that hologram that they did like years ago? That fake ass hologram. First of all, that wasn't even a hologram. That was a. And this is what really pissed me off because people were like, oh my god, people were first of all, some fake ass actors were crying in the crowd to like.
Facts, yeah.
Because when they do the Grammys and the BET Awards, they hire people just to like they're seat fillers, like people just to be there.
Yep.
And like, why didn't they?
For those award shows, they rehearsed the award show down to the speeches.
Yeah.
And they come with like fake actors and all that stuff as well. It's
pre-written.
Wild. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is that like, why do you think they picked the freaking whiter Michael Jackson? Why couldn't they get
fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like a real hologram of like, or like you know what I'm saying? Like a real hologram. They didn't do that. They hired a tribute artist who was a Hispanic or probably a white dude to do the shit. And then when I seen that, I was furious. I was like, come on, man, really? So when they released the new like the posthumous album, which was like unreleased songs, who's on the cover?
Yeah.
White Michael Jackson.
White MJ, yeah. That's true.
And again, to me, don't get me wrong, like Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson to me, but once Michael Jackson said that, I was like, maybe there is a reason for that. Because I don't really care. But again, whitewashing, like you said before, where there's an agenda behind that.
Yeah.
Because the reason why it's like we gravitate towards certain superheroes, even though I don't like certain superheroes because I'm black, like the Power Rangers, I didn't like the Black Ranger. I like the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
I don't really care. It's just like whatever I like is what I like. However, there are some people who they identify with somebody because they look like that.
Color. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Because I mean, all my heroes in life, I mean, aside from the Green Ranger, I can't think of anybody else. Well, like I said, so let's say like, all right, the Green Ranger, Spider-Man, and Batman are the only like white guys that like I admire. Everybody else is black.
Facts, yeah.
Everybody else is black. Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Denzel Washington, Wesley Snipes, Lawrence Fishburne, Spike Lee, they're all black.
Facts, yeah.
So and that's why, to go back to what I was saying earlier, where black people felt like, Michael Jackson was distancing himself from being black. He had to publicly come out and say, I'm a black man and I'm proud and all this other type of stuff. Because we didn't get behind Michael Jackson. Black people didn't get behind Michael Jackson when he needed them. He was trying. That's why he was hiring like black security black people only. He did that. Like when he was going through it, he did that. Black people didn't really get behind him like that. Because if you look at it, them crowds of people that came out for him at the courtrooms and stuff like that, those are white people.
Yeah.
They're all white. As far as I know, I didn't see a legion of black people who was just straight white people. Even, who is it? Was it Trapson? It was somebody who was, I think it was Trapson. He was saying like the people who when there was like in foreign countries, when they were like putting MJ innocent like stickers and stuff on buses and everything like that, white people were doing that out in Europe. Like they were the ones who were going hard for him. It wasn't like a whole bunch of black people. It was funny when all of that was going on, bro. What's this is why I don't like this is I like Chris Brown, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to like Michael Jackson stuff, he didn't come out and like publicly defend him. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. A lot, Beyonce didn't say anything. No one really came out. Like the only people who really came out and defended him was like Diana Ross. Like back in the day people. It wasn't no younger artist like, a Chris Brown or somebody that made bread off of like the principle of like Michael Jackson, because Chris Brown was performing a lot of Michael Jackson songs when he first came out.
And Prince was still alive when around that time too. Prince never really that's true.
Oh yeah, well the thing with we talked about Prince a little bit. I think when I was telling you about the whole when Prince was supposed to get on Bad.
On Bad, yeah.
And all of that. I mean, the thing is, Prince and Michael Jackson, I think that they had a mutual respect for one another, because when Prince was coming up, he was watching Michael Jackson. So Michael Jackson was like that bar that he wanted to reach in terms of like, fame and notoriety and all that stuff. The only thing that Prince had over Michael Jackson career-wise was just the fact that Prince had his own movie. And he did that 3 times. Prince had 3 movies. He didn't just like Purple Rain was like that definitive movie, but Prince had 2 other movies that he did. Michael Jackson didn't have a movie. Yeah. I mean, he had The Wiz, but that wasn't like Michael Jackson at that time. Like he didn't have a Michael Jackson movie. I wish Thriller could have been a whole movie.
That would have been fire. Should have been a whole movie.
Let's say if he had a whole movie, just like Prince did, with his whole soundtrack, dance, a girl in the movie. Like, because that was the thing that Michael Jackson got caught up in. He got caught up in like the short film, realm, and if I do short film, because the thing is, Smooth Criminal was a movie like that. Like what I'm talking about. Like it was his own movie where he turns into the car, then he turns to the robot, then the spaceship.
Demon, yep.
The problem. First of all, that movie. The reason why Michael Jackson fired his manager after that movie, because his manager couldn't secure, like a theatrical release in America. So he fired him right after that because he was like, so you couldn't get this in the movies?
For Smooth Criminal?
Yeah, so the movie's called Moonwalker. That's what the video game is based on. It's based on that movie. The problem with that movie, in my opinion, as somebody who likes movies, is that it was more so, they called it an anthology kind of movie. So basically the way it starts, it's like it's a Michael Jackson concert. Then it's a series of like Michael Jackson videos, like clips, like pretty much like paying homage to him. And then more music videos. Then it gets into the movie, which the movie's theme is kind of like, I'll go with the quote that I've always seen, which is, it was unsure of what it was supposed to be. What I think the movie should have been, it should have been straight up like zoot suits and hats and all that stuff. So that whole movie should have been Smooth Criminal themed. That whole movie should have been like that.
Yeah.
But Michael, I feel like he was trying to like be the entity of Michael, because at the end of the day in that movie his name was Michael.
Yeah, so, fact.
And he was going for like that superhero kind of thing, but it's like people like that movie, but it's kind of like, whoa, what's the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it wasn't as cohesive as
like the bad guy in the movie, he's a drug dealer and he wants to get the whole, you know what I'm saying? I love that movie. I'll watch a movie any day of the week, like, but at the same time, it's like it wasn't Purple Rain. Well, Purple Rain was like a linear
more
movie,
cohesive, actually like a
movie,
film type of thing. It was a little fragmented. Yeah, that's true. Moonwalker to me was almost like a compilation of like his music videos, and he turned it into a story.
Exactly. So it was a movie because, again, it was Michael. Then you had Mr. Big, who's the bad guy. Then you had the kids. But that movie should have been straight Smooth Criminal, in my opinion.
That would be fire.
Or The Way You Make Me Feel should have been a whole movie by itself. Like that movie could have worked. because Michael Jackson actually wanted a longer music video for The Way You Make Me Feel, but motherfucking like the label said no or some bullshit like that.
Or
I would have been like, Michael, go into your pockets, do what you always did before, finance that motherfucker, and do it. And the thing, and the reason, and before we wrap it up, the one of the things that gets me mad is that people didn't give Michael Jackson the same pass that they gave to Prince. And I think I talked to you about that before, where Prince was walking around in G-strings and thongs and high heels and fishnet stockings. And barely no one thought that was weird.
Yeah, facts. Yep.
No one said anything to him. You know why? Because Prince was always walking around with, some bad chick. Like, I didn't even know that Prince dated the girl from the Batman movie at that time. He did a Batman song like that was like super, super popping and all that shit.
Yeah.
And he dated, while that movie was out, the love interest girl from the Batman movie. While he had a Batman song out that was like #1 on the chart.
That's fire. The nigga was living his life. What?
Yeah.
You know that Dave Chappelle skit when he was playing basketball with Prince is actually true.
Yeah. No, like Prince was I won't say Prince was like a regular dude because
he was with a sense of style.
He was, but at the same time, from reading Morris Day's book, he was like one of those, like he was a different kind of guy. Like he was kind of like me, but like, obviously
like, with the money, you know what I mean? Like exuberant by his shit.
No, because like once you have, money and then like you could afford to like create your own world, which is essentially what Prince did.
Yep.
Is what Michael Jackson did. Because once Michael Jackson, had money and then he went and got like Neverland Ranch, for $40 something million or however much.
Bubbles, right? What was the name of his pet monkey, right? Bubbles.
You know what's funny? Bubbles is actually still alive.
Dead eyes? Where's he at?
Bubbles is in some like reservation like somewhere. And then
Mrs. MJ.
What's funny is that what's funny, like how like certain dolls like they have like memory and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna show Bubbles like a picture of Michael Jackson or anything like that because they don't know how like Bubbles is gonna react. And
he's a chimpanzee, right?
He fucking huge. Like
that's
the reason why he's there was because he got too big and Michael Jackson obviously couldn't keep him. So what he was doing was he was paying for Bubbles like as the years go on. But once Michael Jackson kind of started hitting money problems, which he did have later on in his life, so the money kind of started to slip a little bit. And then they were looking to, other sources to be able to like finance, Bubbles. Obviously they got it under control now. Yeah. I don't know who's paying for it, but Bubbles is still good.
His financial issues was messed up though.
Yeah, let's say if what'd you say?
What wasn't one of Michael Jackson's brothers taking care of his money at one point when he was having financial issues?
Nah. So the only instance where Michael Jackson had hired one of his brothers, he hired Randy, but I think Randy, he might have been like some kind of assistant.
Randy lost like $1 billion or something like that. It was
no, it's something crazy. Nothing crazy like that happened. But basically, it just got to a point where Michael felt like he couldn't trust anybody, so he linked back up with Randy to kind of help him out a little bit. I don't remember what he was doing for him because I haven't read the book in a little while. But let's say if I pulled up to like the zoo, and I was wearing like my sunglasses and then like my hat and then my hair, you know what I'm saying, and like my shoes, and then like Bubbles seen me and then like mistook me for like Michael, like, and you know how like monkeys react, like great apes react.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're afraid of. That's why they won't allow like impersonators and shit like that to come around. They don't show pictures of Michael, nothing. Like that chimp is just living like a whole separate life aside from the life, because Michael would take him everywhere. Michael had him from 1983 to like 1989, 1990 before he sent him over to the reservation.
They have a very strong intellect. They have a very strong memory. So, that's messed up. Legends never die.
Nah, man. That's why, I guess to wrap it up, one of the things that I feel like people should correct is when they say like rest in peace Michael Jackson, don't put August 29th 1958 to June 25th 2009. Just put that shit to forever, bro, because Michael Jackson, he's just gonna go on. If I have kids and they love music the way that I do, of course I'm gonna put them on, because nobody put me no one really made me like Michael Jackson. Like that was just something that organically happened.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a
just,
fact. Yeah.
just song and dance is just a form of expression. Like I could literally dance angry. I've done that shit before. Like because it's a feeling. Like you just, you know, I'm sending energy out. Like
Facts, yeah.
I'm emitting just like The Secret. Like I'm just like a tower of energy through which I'm just constantly, you know, releasing until I get tired. So if music is something that I could pass on to, you know, or that experience of music is something I could pass on to my kids, I definitely do that. I definitely show them who Michael Jackson is. So they'll probably because I still have clothes and I could dress like Michael Jackson, they'll probably think that.
Yeah, you are, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah, probably, man. But
When I got kids, man, you got a job to teach them some MJ.
yeah, maybe, man, maybe. Yo, you were probably need me. You could dance, nigga. Shit, you could dance too, bro. What are you talking about?
Not as well as you, man.
Yeah, you don't need me for that.
Nah, not as well as you, man. I definitely don't study Michael Jackson the way you do.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just one of those things that I like to do. I like to do a whole bunch of shit, bro. So that's why it's like sometimes when I get bored, I'm like, I don't even know how I get bored because like there's so much shit that I could do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I'm ever really bored. I always find something to do. Like even if it, you know what I mean? Like
I'm not even. Yeah, you're not bored nowadays. You just be feeling lazy. Like, damn, today I'm lazy. Like, I don't feel like doing this shit. But technically, boredom don't really exist in our world, son. Like, there's mad shit to keep us busy. Like, I'm fucking learning how to play the harmonica. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no such thing as boredom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I spent about $75 because I'm about to learn how to paint. My little sister gave me a couple lessons, so taking after my pops, I guess.
Yeah. All right, I hear you, bro.
You know what I mean?
I hear you, bro. So all right. Dale, yo, what I always go through this shit whenever I'm like, yo, what the fuck do I always say?
The day we was talking about Michael Jackson, you heard like third podcast. Make that shit up. You don't have any structure, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that is it for the third podcast. What you laughing at, bro? That's it for the third podcast. What you talking about?
I said it don't gotta be structured. So, yes, so that was it. That was all for today.
Oh, you talking about the first one? I said
nah, the way you just said it just now.
That's it for the third podcast. You know, that's all we got for today.
Word.
You know, I hope you made it this far. However long this is gonna be. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned something new. And we will see you on the next one. Any last words, bro?
Nothing really, man.
We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Brother man.
Good luck.